Hello everyone. Stream should be live. I had to do a couple of last minute technical difficulty stuff. Um, there we go. Hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. Today's Tuesday. It's my day off work. So I'm doing my other work, which is streaming. We have a lot of stuff going on today. Notably, later on, we'll be having Stormtide as a guest. Everyone's favorite commissioner from the NHL League, the Nidoking Heritage League. Mr. Stormtide and I will be doing a little presentation for you guys, talking about some draft practices and cores, and oh my god, my headphones is caught on my chair. There we go. So we'll be doing that later. I'll be excited to see you all listen to that little ramble of ours, and I'm super excited. Stormtide's such a homie, so anytime I get to have him on the stream, I'm always excited. But until then, we got like a couple hours until he's gonna be ready for that. A little less than a couple hours. I'm going to be playing some Magic Arena. I finally have enough to play a Marvel Superheroes Best of 3 draft. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I should mention. But yeah, I'm probably just going to hop into it. People can come by early. And then I'll let you know when I'm switching off to the Pokemon-related content. Because I know my people love that. But I got to kill some time. And yeah. I will let you guys know, the redeem for submitting a replay for review is still live. So if you want me to go over a draft match replay, maybe I should just add a text box about this. Let me do that. Hello, Drix. Hello. Congratulations. I won't spoil too much for anyone else watching, but congratulations. And let's make this text font. Where's the size? Can I make this smaller? Oh, where to go? Where the hell did it go? Can I just add it back where text? No. Cancel. How do I add something that I've deleted? Appreciate it. Why did it say that I can't use that name then if it's already been Okay, sorry, I'm having some technical problems with my stream. This is on me. Oh, it's in this. Why? Oh my god, why is that size so big? There we go, there we go. Anyways, I'm gonna get right into this now that that's dealt with. Oh my god, that was annoying. Yeah, if you guys have any questions about Pokemon related stuff, use the replay redeem. It's only a few channel points. It should be pretty easy to figure out. If you don't know how it works, then I don't know, dude. I'm trying to get people to use Twitch stuff more. Anyways, we are limited and best of 3 traditional Marvel draft. I play best of 3 draft as much as I can, but I am free to play, so I only have so many gems. And yeah, I did my first actual draft last Friday of Marvel, and my pack one pick one was the Mythic Black Widow. I was pretty happy with it, but then I didn't get to play it in any of my draft games. I only got to play it in one draft match. I was super bummed about that. Oh, my blanket is caught on my chair. Oh my god. Oh, it's... No way. Oh my god, dude. Okay, well, excuse me while I'm fumbling royally in the background here. Our pack one pick one, our rare is Supreme Scientist of AIM. I'm probably just going to take that. In terms of removal, which is the next thing I'm worth looking at, it's better to go with this. There we go. Is there not really any removal in this pack, is there? This set is really interesting for limited because of the cycle of, what are they? Land cycling. These cards, it does not say what basic land type. You can get any basic land off of these, and so you can play them in any off-color deck you want. So, I'm going to take the Scientist Supreme of AIM. This card is kind of nuts, and... Oh, Serpent Society. Okay. Might also take that. It's a big Death Toucher. And, copy activated trigger ability. You may choose new targets. This ability copying is so broken. There's so many things that this works super well with, and 2 life is a very low cost. It's not even a mana ability. It doesn't cost mana to do this, which is, in my books, pretty silly. I'm probably also going to take the Serpent Society. We can kind of hedge our bets on Black X. There's lots of color filtering. The rest of these are kind of okay. But yeah, I think taking 2 different villains. Arc Reactor, oh my god, that's very early. Baron Strucker, I think, is one of the best villain enablers in the set. I kind of want to just take the Arc Reactor to rare draft, but I don't think it necessarily does what we're trying to do here. 3 mana is a lot, but we're not really in the colors for artifact stuff. We say the Nay as a very good counterspell. I've heard surprisingly good things about it in this format, but I think we take Baron Strucker here. Just solid all-around enabler for the villains deck. Here, I probably take the Kree Sentinel to have fixing. However, it is red instead of a color we actually want. This is also fixing the Savage Land Dinosaur. Wait, this is like the best. A 7/6 was trampled? Dude, poor Colossal Dreadmaw getting power crept every inch of the way. Hydra Troopers we can take later. Ant-Man. Let's take the fixing right now. I have a feeling it's gonna go early. Grim Reaper, I think, is absolutely insane if you're in the villains deck. Being able to repeatedly reanimate creatures, even just getting 1 trigger off this is always worth it. It's a bit mana intensive, but it's just so good. Ronin is a lot harder to work than I would like to admit. But there is a sub theme of equipments in this set. And this is pretty mid. This is always playable, but I think Grim Reaper's super free here. Whiplash is also in the cares about equipments category. I drafted this on Friday and never actually ended up playing it because I had better 1-drops. But I could also just take the land here, which I might do. The Dinomorpher is really funny. He's a hero. Ant-Man colony. There's another Ant-Man. A target creature. I'm just gonna take... I'm gonna take the fixing. There's another fixing land. This is actually a very good 4-drop. Just puts a lot of... Like, being a 4/4 with reach is fine, and then it does good stuff in the late game. But I think I take the Rocks and Brutes as another fixing source. Avengers Tower doesn't do anything for us. These two lands are whatever, and we can take the Brutes, and then we're basically mostly green-black right now. 2 creature in the graveyard. We'll let's return it. The thing is kind of silly. So here's the thing. I also don't hate either of these two, but I think if we take the thing now, we kind of have our top end pretty locked in. We have 2 different big tramplers, and we just need to be able to ramp into them. Another Brutes. Oh my god. We can get the Hydra agents later. I'm gonna take this. Oh, Swordsman came back. Another villain enters. Attach up to 1 equipment you control. Whenever equipment you control attacks, connives. This guy is really interesting because he kind of connects the black-white attack alone strategy and the black villains deck. I also don't hate Decoy Ploy. No, I want this. This enters, target opponent discards 2, Ultron Drone. This is a villain. I don't think Hydra Infiltration is that good. Kree Sentinel, you can sideboard. Pepper Pots. So right now we have 3 different land cycling, which makes our Black X Splash a lot easier. This Stolen Stark Tech we might actually play. This is another really good splashable Black X card. One or more creatures are put into a graveyard, you draw a card, lose a life. This is very slow. This card grows pretty quickly, but it's mostly for the Heroes deck. Infiltration is whatever. Pet Avengers is okay. I guess I just take this and maybe we splash it, maybe we don't. I don't really like anything else in this pack. I could take the green fixing land. I could take the Pet Avengers. But I don't really need another 4-drop right now. Actually, no, we only technically have 1 4-drop. I'm going to take this. We'll see if we can actually splash that or not. Easy fixing land. Echo is very good. Yellow Jacket's very good. Ninja Hand. Oh, dude, all this pack is what we want. Even Abomination is playable. This is actually a removal spell, technically. Damn. I want to take the Hidden Layer from my collection. And I think at least one of these will wheel. As long as not the full, as long as one of these 4 cards wheels, I'm happy. So I'm gonna take the land. Even if Abomination wheels, I'm pretty good with that too. We do kind of need some more actual villains. Oh my god, Nick Fury. There's no way we can make 5-color work. Hellcat is a hero. Red Room Recruit is a villain that connives. Living Legionnaire is a villain that also has a really useful power-up. There's like no removal. Hulk Smash is removal, but it's not in our colors. I don't really want to take that. Or counter this, draw 2 cards, not ideal. I think I take the Legionnaire over the Red Room Recruit. Because we are kind of like more late game, and we have some big stuff we want to get back with its power up. It's also a flyer. Having a flyer is always good. Kid Loki. Oh, this card's pretty nuts. He's a hero and a villain. There's another thing. Oh, I might have to take Widow's Bite or Go Nuts, though. I think I take the bite. I wish I could take Loki here, but I need the removal. And it is kind of hard for us to splash a blue card right now. It's just not that hard. Maybe he comes back. Synthoid sucks. There's a fight spell. Visions of Villainy is kind of unnecessary. We already have a colorless card, and we already have a swordsman, so I'm going to take the Go Nuts. Hercules is a very good 3-drop. Hello, hello. Vampire Legionnaire. Gains 2 life, search your library for a basic land, put on the battlefield, tap, put a counter onto one target creature. I'll also take this. Our 3-drops is okay. Let's take this. We have a lot of top end. This will help get to it. Rick Jones. Mill 4 cards, put hero or enchantment from among those cards into your hand. That's not what we're doing. It's probably Echo. Activated or triggered ability. Kind of works with aim, and we can kind of play into that more. I don't really think we need the Deathclock robot. Okay, there's another fixing land. We just kind of counter on target permanent player. Give that thing another count. This is just a 3-3 that has upside. Like, it's a fine 3-3. I don't really think I want the Fisk Tower. He came back. Giant growth. Your opponent discards 2 cards. Creature attacks alone. I'm gonna take the 3-drop. 3-drop is kind of getting a bit bloated, but super strength, surveillance room, or I'm gonna take the villainy. Visions of Villainy. I do kind of want some more cheap creatures. I'm gonna put this in the sideboard. We'll take a second thing. Don't think we'll play him. And the Royal Guard came back. We have way too much top end. Scarlet Witch cares about big spells. There's like no removal. This is okay. There's white removal. Not really our color combo. There's like I've seen very little black removal. Unless I've just like looked over it. I'm definitely going to take Titania. She's a villain and a big dumb beater. It does make our 3-drop slot a little bit crowded. There's another fixing land. There's giant growth, which is pretty whatever. Truck toss is if we're in red. We might have to... Do we have to go into red? I don't really want to. We could take another fixing lane with PIM technologies. The shield deployment drones, whatever. Legionnaires, kind of. Whatever. Hawkeye. This card's super good. Most creatures enters make a treasure token. Do I just cut the blue cards and play red? Because Hawkeye is very good. But I think it's better than like... Untap creature gets +1/+2. Creature has flying in ward 1. We'll take another U. Armor Wars. Oh, there's Krang. Okay, that's what we're looking for. There's also Widow's Bite. Oh, dude. I think we need Kang more than we need a second Widow's Bite. But, like, we really want the removal. Bullseye. Oh, Bullseye's actually better, probably. Because he's removal and a villain. So I'm taking that. I'm a very big fan of this card. It really helps prevent floodouts, and it kills stuff early. There's a lot of X2s you wanna snipe. Destroy target tap creatures. Whenever creature becomes tapped, destroy it. Here we go. 4 mana. We have to take that. We need a kill anything spell. And that's the only like very little unlimited removal we've seen. Oh, this Krang came back. Villainous Hideout helps fix us. There's another Hour Defeat. We're not going to see any of these cards back. This is the last. This is only 7 cards in this pack. I think we have to take the hour. Flash and Unblockable is cool. Widow's Bite. Probably Widow's Bite. Subterranean Cavern. I think we have our fixing down. Let's take Widow's Bite. I also didn't hate the villain. Masters of Evil. That's a big top-end villain. Vibranium Energy Daggers is whatever. Yeah. We'll take this, and we're going to cut, I think. Do I take another Stark Tech? This card's actually pretty good. War Within Worlds, Legionnaire. Let's take this for our collection. I don't think we're playing either of those 4-drops. We can take the Deathlock Soldier. I don't hate the Hydra Troopers, but I think we need a 1-drop, and he has some shenanigans with being recurred. That came back. Ooh, okay, that's a good late pickup. The Energy Daggers. Okay, I'm not really happy with how things came around in the end. I think our pack 1 was really good. Our pack 2 was kind of all over the place. And our pack 3 was just, we had to take removal. So, let's see what we got here. This might be better than I think. So, in terms of removal, we have Go Nuts, we have 2 Widow's Bites, and we have 2 Hours Defeat, which is technically enough. We also have Bullseye, which I'll put in that category as well. Scientist Supreme of Aim, I'm almost certainly keeping in. It works with a lot of our random uncommon legends. Serpent Society is a big, dumb blocker and beater. And technically, I think we can copy the ward cost if someone tries to target it. Ultron Drone is probably getting cut. I think we're cutting this, and I think we're cutting a Ben. We might also cut one of the villains, one of the vampire bats. That said, it is a flyer, and it is, like, we don't have a lot of 4-drops, so it's probably staying in just for that. The Stolen Stark Tech is a protection spell, basically. What do we have that cares about? You care about equipment, and no one else does. This isn't actually a villain, is it? We might cut Echo. It kind of... Actually, no. The same thing that AIM does, it also does. So it's pretty good. I think we might cut one of you. This is, like... We'll put this in this non... kind of utility spell category. This is just a global pump for all villains, so I think because of that we try to play as many villains as possible. We'll keep the Thing and the Dinosaur. This is really good with all of our cycling cards. Barnstrucker is definitely staying. This is probably cuttable. Oh, and Villains of Villainy is our other support spell. We need 4 more cuts. So we could just cut 4 creatures. This is also notably not a villain. I don't think we're cutting... We could cut maybe 1 land, because we do have 3 cyclers. What's our color base? 2 islands, 20 and 8. Each kind of counter on target permanent or player. Do we have anything that cares about +1/+1 counters? So this gives 1. There's something that says Baron says connive. May have it connive, so that's another one. I don't think we have that many counters, so we're probably cutting the Powerful Broker. Oh, technically this cares about counters. Another creature with greater power. I'm gonna cut him at this. I kind of want to bring in the second Titania, though. I think she's just... I played against her, And she just seems so strong. Like, whether or not you use the cost reduction effect on her, the fact that she just is a 5/5 with ward, is, like, with the downside to targeting her is so big. I think I do cut one of these guys. My 3-drop slot is also still really big. How do I feel about cutting a land? I really don't want to. Maybe I cut Echo. That way aim is the only actual off-color. Oh, we have so many. Yeah, no, it's worth keeping her. I could also just cut the Stark tech, but then this guy's just a 2/2. The 2/2 that does nothing. So like I could go like this, and then bring in her as a second copy of her, and then yeah, we'll do that actually. We'll bring this in if our opponent has a lot of removal, like non-exile based removal. So because like Widow's Bite gets owned by this, there's some white exile removal that this doesn't protect from, and we can bring this in against black decks because most of the destroy effects are in black. Only other thing is, do I want to cut the Deathlock Soldier? But because we have a fair bit of Connive, we can just keep recurring it back to our hand using the graveyard ability. I'm gonna turn this up a little bit. I changed some of the filters on my audio thing for a stream a while ago because there was some cancel done. There's some nasty noise in the background. Oh, that's a sick picture for the deck art there. Yeah, we're gonna run with this. It is best of 3, so we have the option to sideboard. Notably, we can splash red or white in sideboard games if we really feel we need to. We could cut all of our blue cards if we want to in sideboard games. So we have the Thanos PFP. I think it'd be really cool to see a bunch of Magic Original characters kind of taking the same like position or like placement as Marvel characters in the Marvel plotline. So like, you know, Thanos is actually just Tezzeret, and Tezzeret is trying to find the Infinity Stones because they're artifacts and he cares about artifacts. And like, you know, Iron Man is actually what's a like artifact based blue planeswalker or red planeswalker? Was there, he could be like Ralph Zarek or something, you know? This is a mulligan. This is keepable, and we can put back. Let's put back the thing. We have a lot of top end we can ramp into with this. Is it a shame to mulligan when you have Bullseye in your hand? Because he really wants you to have a lot of cards in hand to really be effective. But that's okay. We can also just discard something and get it back with the Unliving Legionnaire. Oh, they just play equipment on one. Okay. Okay, I'm happy to draw the Kingpin and Forces here. Them having lifelink is actually so important. When I attacks alone, untap it, scry 1. Hercules, okay, that's actually pretty bad. I'm gonna save Bullseye for later and just play the Kingpins and Enforcers. We can play the Restoration technique. Restorative technique. Untap it, scry 1. They put it on top, no blocks. When it enters draw a card, controlling the hero, you gain 2 life. Yeah, I've heard that this is like the best common in the set. And it's like not even remotely close. I think we go Bullseye and discard Echo. Just snipe that down, and then we can double block this if we really have to. That said, it could just... Yeah, they do have 5 mana up, so they can activate the power-up, which... Oh, they don't do that. Okay, sweet. Oh, that's actually worse. Okay, we really need to draw some sort of kill spell for this. No blocks. Put a counter on intelligence hero, put 2 counters on the set. Okay, yeah. I didn't actually read that card earlier. I did not, in fact, read that. We need a forest for this Savage Land Dinosaur. And, okay, so as long as we don't die this turn, we can double block the Wakandan Royal Guard. Put a counter on him against Vigilance. With toughness 4 or greater. Rude. Okay. Yeah, that's an exile clause, notably. So I think we have to block Hercules. I'm surprised his equipment has done so much work. And they play a flyer. That's really bad. Okay. So we have to slam this dinosaur and hope that we don't... I think we're just dead, honestly. Because we're forced to block Hercules. They can power him up to make him indestructible. Yeah. Yeah, we have to block here, and then we're just not ever winning this game. Yeah. Okay, we're a bit too slow against the Hercules there. And we did not draw any removal for him. Okay, so against this shenanigans, I don't really want to bring in the Stark Tech. Gained indestructible, yeah, it doesn't really do anything. You're a flyer. They did show us a flyer at the end there. We just kind of need to draw our big stuff. Is there anything that's kind of bad here? Widow's Bite would have been super awesome there for Death Touch. That's a fight spell. I think we... Do we cut the Echo? We could bring on our own Royal Guard. There's also the Broker thing. Our red really doesn't do anything. I'm going to bring in a second one of these because I did see some flyers at the end there. And I don't think we're going to have time to do Echo shenanigans. I'll play first. We'll keep this. We're probably just going to discard a land to Titania. Titania. There's only room for one strongest woman, and it ain't you. I don't actually have a plan to go get with this. It's just in here as a pump effect. The snake, oh, that's annoying. Okay. So I think I play the island and then discard a swamp. We have a lot of lands. We were playing the full 17. And, okay. They only get to draw a card. They don't actually gain 2 life, which is good enough for us here. We really don't want to let this villain death touch us. If they have a bite spell or a fight spell, we can destroy it in response. Oh, this is the commander, the secret lair one. Whenever or another creature enters, put a counter on target land, and then you can pay 3 to move all counters from a land onto a creature. His first strike? I'm just gonna kill him. I think we're doing something next 2 turns, and I don't really want to let him live. Here's the thing. Let's put him in the graveyard. I'm wondering if they can actually... I don't think they can really go over the top of us, so it's just a matter if this Serpent Specialist does anything. Okay, interesting. They kill that guy, because I can see his menace. He's a menace! That's Spider-Man. Oh? Well, they had the bite spell, okay, and they discarded White Widow. Whenever you attack with top 6, you may cast a spell among them with a mana value less than the greatest power among attacking creatures. Okay. Okay, we should be able to more or less win this. Okay, look at top 3, they can cast... Sorry, look at top 6, they can cast a 3-drop. I should probably kill this. Did not want to draw land there. 2, 4, 5. Yeah, we can attack with this pretty freely. We have to start getting in because this Cosmic Cube is like just going to win them the game, almost certainly. They didn't kill my blocker, okay. And they had another Serpent Specialist. Oh my god, dude. Okay. They had like every Death Toucher. Okay, that is it. No, dude, I clicked on the forest. Oh my god. I don't know if this is like me having a skill issue or like an actual issue with an arena, but I've been noticing that like my cards in my hand move around a bunch when I don't want them to. They're just getting so many free cards off this. This is so annoying. Yeah, I wanted that to power up. It doesn't matter. Okay, well. Like it's indestructible, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna scoop. The Cosmic Cube, okay, well. I guess it's just kind of the Green-White Heroes deck doing its thing. You have a bunch of bite spells, you have a bunch of cheap creatures, and, yeah, we got out-gimmicked. Not even out-gimmicked, they just had a better, like, Green-White generically good and limited spells, so unfortunate. Let's see if okay. Let's at least try to get 2. I really want to get 2 wins. I think this deck is good enough to get 2 wins. We didn't mulligan. No, we didn't mulligan that second game, do we? I'll play first. This is a mulligan. This is a keep, but only just barely. We probably put the... I want this to be good. We probably have to keep and put back one of the kill spells. My opponent is taking forever to decide if they're going to go first or not. We have a basic land. Okay, sweet. Doesn't care what type of basic land, just any basic land. They're gonna Visions Allay a land. Oh, it's not Visions, it's Vision of Love. Interesting. Okay, that I'm just gonna kill. That can get them a lot of random card advantage, so that needs to go, like, immediately. And then we can just play this. I wish I had taken a plan for this, but I came pretty late, and I didn't really see any plans that I wanted to take. Echo. That's interesting. And Hawkeye's Bow. So I could just kill this. I think we start on this. And that's why, because I was hoping to get something like that. I kind of want to play this turn, but it means I have to discard something. Maybe just discard the land. Yeah, let's just do that. It's gonna be pretty hard for them to kill this unless they have like the Murdoch Crusade type of kill spell. And if they use a non-exile based... Ooh, Sue Storm. Okay, that probably has to die, like, immediately. So, yeah, we're just gonna kill that. And our own Echo we can put in the graveyard. So one of the funnest things about this limited format is if you get all 4 of the Fantastic Four members in play at the same time, there's an infinite combo that I think basically just draws your whole deck. Among other things. I think it also pings out your opponent, but there is just straight up an infinite combo with the 4 members of the Fantastic Four. And I think you can like go 3, 4, 5, 6 to cast them all too. Oh, wait, why'd they... Did they really not want to pay the word cost? Because you 100% should have killed this. Celestial creature toughness 4. Yeah, you should have killed the Titania. I guess they didn't want me to reanimate something. Okay, they didn't have a trick. We're just gonna play this. We're just gonna keep playing big, dumb creatures. Do they have a counterspell? They do, okay. Okay, they gain a life off the hanger. Choose your library for an artifact creature with value X, put X counters on it. It gains haste if X is 4 or greater. So they're probably looking for like... They got another Iron Lad. What, does that hit your graveyard? Oh, it does hit your graveyard. Okay, that was in their graveyard. We knew about that. We're just gonna keep attacking. Like, we have no reason not to. Oh, they just chump block. Okay. Yeah, they're gonna get in with their vigilance. They're gonna be careful because this will kill us pretty quickly. So we're gonna play this now in the event that they have some form of target removal spell, because we can copy the ward trigger. Looks like they're just chump blocking. And then I'm gonna trade with the Masters of Evil. Do they have a, like... No, they're just trading. Sweet. Happy with that. We can end turn there. Hold on to these swamps for connive triggers. I wish I had taken one of those Kang the Conquerors I saw. Because we don't really have that much conniving. Okay, so they had exile-based removal. I don't really want either of those. They did have flyers, so maybe I bring in the extra Legionnaire. Yeah, let's take one of these guys in. And I think I kind of like the concept of Echo here. We could just cut. I don't really want to cut the Deathlock Soldier. Still not drawing Strucker. Startup Technique, Widow's Bite. Is there another random 4-drop we want to cut? Let's just cut Echo. Okay, here we go. We have no lands. Great. Instant mulligan. This looks fine. As long as we can get to Strucker, our hand looks amazing. We need to keep this. We're probably just getting rid of Restorative Technique. They go to... No, they kept... Okay, they did keep 6. So we should need to get to Baron Strucker, and then our hand opens up huge. We can bullseye away, like, the Rocks and Brutes if we really have to. Futurist Forwards. Enters, draw a card. Sack it, draw 2 cards. Cool. Go Forest first. I probably should cycle this for a land. That's fine. Yeah, I'm just gonna cycle this. We have enough action in hand that we can afford to get rid of this. And let's go get another swamp. We did draw a little bit more land than I was hoping for here. He does not trigger on himself, unfortunately. So next turn I'm probably just slamming Titania. I could also go Bullseye. Doesn't even kill this. They have to play something that we can kill with Bullseye for this to be worth it. I could also slam Grim Reaper early. They don't attack, okay. So I could go Grim Reaper and then go nuts to fight this guy. I don't think it's worth doing that yet, so I'm just going to slam her with paying the 2 instead of the word cost. Oh, they have a counterspell, okay. That's fine. Having that eat the counterspell is kind of nice. Because it's easy to reanimate her. They have Invisible Woman. Okay, that's not ideal. Copy activated or triggered ability. So they need to put +1/+1 counters on things for that to do anything. Otherwise, it's just a big dumb lifelinker. Let's play Scientist Supreme. Wait, why couldn't I? That was a triggered ability. Why didn't it give me like the opportunity to copy that? That's dumb. I guess I discard a second Titania. I could also just play her. Oh, it doesn't work 'cause it's a once per turn clause. That's why. Even if I copied it, it's a once per turn clause. Okay, I did not read my cards. Frozen in ice. That's no fun. We can still use them to fight stuff, which is funny. Yeah, technically, even if we copy it, do this only once each turn. Let's see. I don't think we need the 2 life. Let's test this out. Copy target. Oh, it's from an artifact source. It says artifact source. Okay, well, I'm an idiot. Oh, okay, so we could... Yeah, we just want to play that, don't we? And also now Go Nuts is like an actual kill spell because this has Death Touch. Ooh, 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 ooh. Hey, we can just keep throwing this at the Agent of Atlas. Or any small creature for that matter. They seem to have something up. Do they really want to? Yeah, I didn't realize this said artifact source. Okay, we might just end up cutting this and then going into a different color combo. Okay, they wasted their mana. That's good. I don't know why they did that at that timing, but we take those. And now we can teamwork. Put a counter on a target creature, and target creature control fights target creature. So we put a counter on Baron Strucker, and then have you fight you. Oh, they don't know how much trouble they're in. I do wish I had... If I draw a land, it's actually good for me, because I mean, I can recover this and then immediately throw it with Bullseye. Artifact becomes a copy of a second target artifact, except it's not legendary. Okay. And they scoop. Let's go. Okay. So we got a win on the board. We'd love to see it. Can we get a second win? Before we do that, actually, you are actually useless. Activated or triggered ability from an artifact source. Does not do anything. So we're going to cut all this. And probably... could just cut all our fixing lands too, but... do I keep Echo? It's a real question. From a creature source. This is only from creature sources. I think we just bring in this and this. What's our land count? 16? I think I have too many 6-drops for that, so... we'll just cut... there's something we only had in here because of triggered ability stuff. Maybe we just cut a Titania now that we brought in this other stuff. What's our color mix? Oh, we could splash red. Or white even. Do we play this? Splash white? Because we have 3... I don't think we do. I think we just... go like that. It's only 6. I could maybe cut one swamp or cut one forest for an extra swamp. Have a more stilted split, but I think we want untapped lands as much as possible. And we're not playing any blue cards anymore, so I didn't realize the aim scientist is artifact source only. That was on me for not reading. What do we say about draft players here, folks? Draft players can't read. A Mind Stone. Okay, that's potentially really bad. We're just gonna snake people them. That's our game plan. You're a big dumb guy with Death Touch, so do they have like another spell? Target artifact becomes second copy. I just want to kill her immediately because the cost reduction can be very dangerous with the amount of mana they have. Another artifact enters, put a counter on it. And there's got to be something dumb they're trying to do with this triggered ability here. Second Machine Smith Automaton. And Hawkeye's Bow, okay. Actually playing that. Does make this 5 power, notably, which is pretty big. I'm just gonna stay aggressive though. If they want to trade like that, that's super fine by me. We will play you. Okay, that's gonna grow this guy again. Why does this card have prowess? Oh, because the Crimson Dynamo is what it's a reference to. Okay, so that does have reach. They do trade, okay. That's fine by me. So they are at a point in the game where they can harness the Mind Stone and then just flicker this every turn to get free card draw, which I'm not really a big fan of. But they do need an extra land to do that, because you can't tap it to itself. Okay, they have the land for it. They're gonna harness it. They're gonna flicker this guy. So we need to get rid of this ASAP. Get extra land. Yeah, I'm just gonna kill this now. We can keep that on top. Hopefully they just mostly draw lands at this point, but there's a lot of things that are super nasty top decks with the flicker they have. Let's make two, okay. 2 heroes. And equip a bow. Probably fine with those trades. We have a big menace creature. Pack it up. Oh, we got a replay? Okay, okay. I will watch that as soon as this match is done. Let's go, let's go. Let me pull this up. Copy. Sorry. Oh god, what they play? When you cast a non-creature spell, exile another target non-land permanent. Return to the battlefield with bonus end step. I say exile my little guy and kill my big guy. And now this guy is flying. Yikes, okay. That's... Are they gonna flicker this guy? No, don't think so. Okay, next turn we can play this, and if we draw a land, we can immediately power it up. So that's swinging for 6 total damage. Are they gonna flicker it? They do flicker it. Okay. We did get the land, so we can play this, and then immediately pay for the power up. And we want to get back probably another one of them. We can just chain these two into each other if they want to kill them. So they need to have exile-based removal in order to stop this. Oh, I should have been doing this the whole time. Oh my god, what is... That is some dog shit. Okay, great. Do they have a spell? No. Oh, I'll absolutely trade with that every day of the week. Thank God this doesn't have lifelink or something. I should have been doing this the whole time. This is so much better than what I was doing earlier. Okay. Another villain or artifact enters, it deals 1 damage to target opponent. Are they gonna flicker the Hawkeye spell on my instep? On their instep, rather? They are. And they got in the chip damage. So I'm gonna lead on this, because if they have counter magic, I can't afford to attack with this. Let's get back this guy. I just want to get an extra body on board because we want to try and kill them next turn if possible. We don't want to give them any more turns with the Mind Stone available. Sweet. Okay, we got the W. Am I bringing in anything? I don't think so. I think we'd run it back. I maybe should have done the whole swamp island swap or swamp. Huh? What? Huh? Yeah, Photon's messed up. Messed up card. When I first saw that card, I looked at it and I was like, this just has a bunch of stats. And then I saw that the backside had hexproof, and I was like, bring it back. No, it would put more pressure on board. They had it meant that they only had one turn to draw something. Dude, how many times are we gonna draw 7 non-lands? Holy. This is fine. This is fine. We have this guy. I'm gonna put you to the bottom. I'm not even playing like my normal like low when we draw a land immediately for the 1-drop we had. Great. That would have gone with this guy nicely. Well, I probably don't have to cycle this now, which is nice. So we can go 2, 3, hopefully draw a 5th land before. Okay, this is a very good uncommon. Do I just kill it? I think I'll play this first. We can kill this next turn, if it's really a problem. Filler.deck. That website is not real. Unfortunate. Do they... Wait, did they use the... I looked off stream for a second, off my game for a second. Did they actually use the ability on Armor Wars, or did they just not? Deals X damage to target opponent where X is the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. Oh, it only to a player. Okay, that's way less important than I cared. I'm not going to bother with that then. Are they going to do anything crazy with this Armor Wars? 1 mana Mind Stone, okay. Basically, literally free Mind Stone, and then, okay. Make some 2/3s. Pretty mid course of events there. We'll just play this guy. We're taking, what, 2 damage? This Armor Wars did nothing. Literally nothing. So you know what? We can get in with this, because if they kill it, yeah, they lose her, and then that's huge for us. Oh, actually, wait. No, I needed to kill this, so they're going to power it up and then draw a card. Yeah, that's bad. Okay, that was not actually very smart of me. But we got rewarded because we top decked into like the best possible here. Oh, they just double block that. Okay, sure. I was more worried they would double block the Kingpins Enforcers because that had lifelink. This the operative. Not happy to see them get Wiccan off the top. Okay. They do attack with her. They're going to draw a card. But we're going to kill that immediately. I don't think I actually care about the death touch on this. Oh, I almost clicked the wrong mode. let me sack? Artifact or creature. Okay. The good news is, if we win this, best of 3, we get to do another one of these. There's Wiccan. Does he have an actual kill spell? That's fine. Death of our enemies. So I drafted this on Friday, and ended up cutting it afterwards because it's the 7 damage is nasty, but it's so hard to actually enable. Oh, that should be lethal then. And they scoop. Let's go. Okay. I think we had lethal either way, but easy win, easy win. Before I open all my packs and stuff, let me go ahead and go into studio mode and open up this. And we can close this for now and this for now. And let's pull up that replay that we got redeemed. NBA Leezy versus Davo Wolf. What? This is Generation 9. And we want this one on... What is this? This one. And we can hide this one. And we can keep the not-real-on counter. Perfect. So if I transition... Thank you for the redeem, Leezy. So we got our boy NBA Leezy versus Davo Wolf. I'm not sure what league this is from, but it looks like it's either NBA or a similar NatDex league. Yo, that's a Tangela. Okay, wait. We got some low tier heroes. Oh wait, is this PG NBA season 6? Okay, okay. So this is from a season ago. You got Iron Valiant. However, they have a nasty defensive core. Freaking Gouging Fire, Corviknight, Ting Lu, Screamtail. That's insane bulky defensive core there. Also a lot of potential threat too with setup Gouging Fire. I don't really see a special attacker though, unless they're like special Zero Aura. On your end, you have Latias, which could be a special wall, could be offensive. Offensive Latias might be necessary as a check to Gouging Fire. You brought a fair number of potential special attackers. Scolipede. I should see what Scolipede does. Although I guess Hazard Stack is pretty good. They no, they don't. They have Corviknight. This NBA. Well, he's playing for the Knicks actually. he's about to win this season. Wait, did I not? This one. There we go. We don't need that on right now. Yeah. Oh, that's what you meant. Yeah. Next season will be season 8. I've been playing the NBA, I think, since season 2. So it's been a while. Let's just get into this. Okay. Real quick, Terra types. Looks like we have Terra Ghost, Scolipede, and Terra Ice. Porygon 2. I could be wrong on that. Is it actually Terra Flying? Wait, was Zero Aura Terra legal for a season? There's no way. Is that really Terra Flying Zero Aura? That sounds insane. Toxic Spikes up. Speed boost. Okay. More Toxic Spikes into Defog. Okay. I love the Slay Spire nicknames off the bat. Huge Brave Bird. Into Endeavor, yep. Yeah, and now you're in a position where you can just keep setting spikes, or you can keep setting T-spikes. Oh, it is pressure, so they can... Okay. Okay, wait. How do they play this? I feel like Scolipede doesn't actually win this. 5. Okay, wait. Not wasting a T-Spikes PP on there. That said, you are gonna... Oh, that didn't kill. You're gonna waste another Endeavor PP? Okay. And now you switch out. Okay. Only... Oh, he's out of Endeavors. Okay. U-turn... That was a crit. Crit U-turn to 22? That seems a little bit high for a Porygon. Maybe this is offensive Porygon. Oh, it's gotta be non... It's Life Orb. It's not a Violite. Okay. It's Life Orb Porygon. That's crazy work. Goes to the Tri-Attack. Gets the freeze. Okay. I think... Isn't Ice Beam stronger? Yeah, it is. It is. It is stronger. Because it's 90 versus 80, and they're both stabbed because of Terra here. Huge 77. Oh my god. But now he's going to D-Dance. And kill... Dude, Life Orb Porygon too? That's heat. And also Crash. This looks like it's Scarf, Iron Valiant. Makes a lot of sense. You're going to switch out into Scolipede Sack here. Okay. Does this just heal? No. But gets Leftovers Recovery. Primarina comes in. There's like no switch in for this. Oh, that did a lot. Okay. And he misses the pump. Oh, no. That's huge. Really heads up play just to go for the Brave Bird damage. This isn't offensive invested Corviknight, is it? Okay, rocks are off. This is defensive. This is especially defensive, probably Latias. Does it have Protect? No. Oh, he reads the knockoff. Okay. And are you going to go back to Crook on the electric move? Yup. Okay. He's in his head. Big knockoff. Leftovers are gone. We needed those gone like forever ago. Into SmackDown. That said, this is a pretty free Tangela switch in. Does he read this? No, he does go for the Earthquake. Okay. Latias is in on the Tangela. It gets knocked off. Okay. The Suicide Wish. Gonna go... What would he go into? This is not knock... Now you knock this off. Okay. Giga Drain kills. Oh, no. Okay, yeah. If that Giga Drain... If you knew that Giga Drain killed, that was a bad line. Oh. Wait, does this just win? Wait, you knew this was Scarf. Why'd you go into Zero Aura? Or did he think that his Gouging Fire was not sped properly? Back into Prim. Should be a Brave Bird. No, he roosts. And then a U-turn. Maybe he wants to save this for Iron Valiant. But now everything's in close combat range. Goes to the Moonblast again. Okay. This Corviknight should just Brave Bird twice. That should be game. Or is this a speed tie? It was a speed tie! Oh my god, wait. What turn was that? This turn here. It was faster. And then all the way back here. All of this just for it to be a speed tie. I also won this speed tie too. This is a second speed tie here. Moonblast kills that guy. Goodbye, Tinglu. Now you switch out into Prim. And this is where it reveals that it was a speed tie the whole time. Because both interactions earlier, we thought it wasn't. And everyone's... what does chat say? Huh? I wasn't fast. Huh? Huh? That's a certified huh moment. And now you win with the Iron Valiant. All of that just for a speed tie. That's crazy work. And if we look at the speed creep, also this set was sick. Live 4 Porygons 2. Crazy. This was Scarf. I think he didn't play around Scarf appropriately earlier that game, but that's fine. Latias, Wish Toxic Draco. Okay. Rosalie Berry Crocodile. Okay, okay. Max Attack Adamant with counter. Is that for like random play rough? Or for... Maybe it was for Gouging Fire. Sash Scolipede. Unfortunately, Scolipede kind of got owned by Corviknight. That's kind of what Corviknight does, though. And this was Specs with 60 speed investment. What's the speed creep on that? Let me look it up. So, Primarina. Oh, I'm in the wrong generation. 1 second. I had to refresh my calculator. Oh, and it's lagging my computer. Well, dude, I don't want to know what it is, but the Pokemon damage calculator is infamous for lagging the shit out of my computer. His 4-speed Corviknight made it a tie. Let's see. Primarina. With, what was it? 60 speed? Modest? And then Corviknight. With exactly 4. That's crazy. That's wild work. Oh my god. Sorry, I pulled it on my other tab. But yeah, now, normally, I'm a person that always puts 8 instead of 4 into a speed creep like that on my Corp. Like, if this was my Corviknight, it would be 8 speed. So, that's my little 2 cents on this. But dang. Gouging Fire. Oh. It had, like, no speed. So, you know what? He might have expected that the Iron Valiant wasn't even speed creeped. Like, wasn't even Scarf. Maybe that's why he played it that way. Like, this is at +1. Or, sorry, this is at neutral. And Gouging Fire is no speed, Adamant, Jolly. Sorry, not Adamant. At +1. Yeah, wait, he had what, 48 speed? Yeah, Iron Valiant. Yeah, he didn't think it was Scarf Valiant because he knew he was slower. Interesting. Leftovers Tinglu, full speed F, pretty standard. Sarah Aura. Oh, that's a crazy spread. Both defenses, HP, 4 attacks, boots, pretty standard set. Fast Screamtail, and Tangela was a Violite. Yup. Crazy game for the speed tie. Oh my god. Okay, I'm going to switch back to MTGA, but thank you for the redeem. If you guys have more replays you want me to go over, old replays, new replays, you name it, I'm game for it. But, we went 2-1, which means we turned our 1,000 gems, or sorry, 1,500 gems into 1,000 in 3 packs, which, if you can go 2-1 in best of 3, it actually is pretty good expected value. But obviously you want to be going 3-0 if you can. And the 1 and 0 win rewards are pretty shitty, so you have to be careful of that. But we got 8 packs to open because I had some other ones from earlier. There are some constructed decks I've been wanting to mess around with for this set. Multiversal Incursion. For each non-token creature, make a token of it that's not legendary. Dang, okay. MODOK, Dr. Doom, and the Iron Man Armor. This is a card I've also been wanting to try and play with. It says a lot of things. It gives something flying, it automatically attaches itself. And worst case scenario, you can animate it. But it's also like, it's a 3-mana equipment that doesn't necessarily do anything, right? Like, equipments are pretty hard to make work in constructed because of how common removal is. So, and it's also like, is spending 3 mana for initial 2 power even that worth it? Where's Stormtide? Stormtide is gonna let me know when he gets home. He's just, he said he finished work and needs like time to get home and get ready. So as soon as he's ready, we'll be rocking it. But yeah, this is a card I really want to playtest and Constructed. MODOK, I actually had this card at my pre-release last weekend. No, that was 2 weekends ago now. It was like a week and a half ago. This card completely destroyed in Limited. In Sealed, this card's nuts. The passive, giving your opponents -1/-1, all their creatures -1/-1, absolutely huge house in Limited. And then Dr. Doom is also, I know for a fact, complete monster in Limited. Just makes so much power, does so much to take over the game, and draws you a card every turn, because why wouldn't it? So, but yeah, we successfully we won the draft, or not really won. We went 2-1, which means we got pretty reasonable rewards. While we're killing time, I could probably just go over another replay, because I think he'll be free the next half hour or so. I also have to double check that my presentation is pretty much good to go. Oh shit. Oh, he cooked. Okay. Oh damn. Okay. Let me just DM Stormtide, because he's actually been cooking. He's been cooking in the background. Go back to this. Close this. And bring up this one. We need it. We also do have my guest tag. I want to make sure I'm on this one. If edit's ready to go. Shimura is playing his match right now? Oh, dang. Okay, I didn't realize he was playing his game today. I should have... Yo, let's watch this live. I'm not playing this game, so... And I don't have any real sway. So I can watch this live and not have, whatchamacallit? Biases interfering. I'll try not to give any coaching. So mods don't ban me. Wug Trio sighting. Yeah, we can watch this live. Let's go for it. There we go. Full screen as much as possible. We also want to switch to winner POV. JK. Wug Trio sighting indeed. Okay, so when I looked over these teams previously, for those of you who weren't here, I did a review stream of all the teams on Friday, I think. I rated a lot of the teams in this division very highly. I thought the teams in Division 3 were all pretty solid. There was definitely a lot of mix and match of teams that didn't have hazards and teams that didn't have removal, but that said, we've got two of the most hyped up Pokemon in this format up to bat, right off the bat. Mawile usually being a complete garbage Pokemon, but given that it's one of the few rockers, and given the lower power level, it actually hits very hard. And the Steel Fairy typing does wonders for Pokemon. We've seen Tinkaton in other formats. Despite its like relatively medium stats, or bad stats even, Tinkaton continues to like do wonders in game. And then Archeops, okay. Shukaberry, okay. Super Fang, okay. So trading the Shukaberry for Super Fang, unfortunately, oh, he roosts. Oh my god, insane. Okay. Notably, so if that Sucker Punch had connected, it was gonna put Archeops below half health, which would activate Defeatist, which would lower its attacking stat. Wait, did they make trades? Was there trades I missed before between this and something else? Oh my god, insane read on the Switch. Hello? Wait. Bobo Zap. Hello? Crazy read. What? Maybe he knew that, like, this Mawile wasn't touching him ever. This might just win the game outright. So now low kicks has to come in. the salty, of course. that's a tough line to follow up on. Wait. Okay, that is the case. Interesting. Going low kicks first. Maybe it's scarf low kicks. Yeah, losing Sigilif that early is crazy for how this game is gonna play out. Because, like, Sigilif was a really good check to, like, Virizion. Okay, that is a quad resist, but only technically a half resist because of filter. Or not filter, tinted lens. Like, Sigilif, I think you really needed it for Virizion and Toxicroak. We got the magic nicknames. We got Gitrog Monster. Wait, what was this? Kamachal? Oh, that's, like, one of the dinosaur commanders. You know, unfortunately, you know, I think Stormtide is losing the nickname battle, which is obviously very imperative to winning your games, you know? Yeah, we love Gitrog Monster here. I like the Gotrog Monster. Oh, wait, okay, so I just realized he kept Archeops alive, but because it consumed its Power Herb, it probably doesn't actually have a great rock move to kick. Okay, Mawile is in. On the knockoff, okay. Life Orb Chip on the Toxicroak here. I just realized, I don't know when they did this, but they updated Showdown to now show you speed ranges. It doesn't just show you the maximum speed, it shows you the minimum and maximum and everything, and like the standard. I think the 220 is like base speed uninvested, and the 283 is if you're max speed but like adamant nature. Okay, this does just go for the close combat. I thought this might try to Sucker Punch. But not going to go for it, and Toxicroak does just click the close combat to get the kill there. Helios comes in. Okay, interesting to see where this goes. Does go hard, Marowak. Does have the Lightning Rod, okay. Oh, it's shiny too. Wait, the shiny... Oh, is that what shiny Marowak looks like? Or is it just because it's the sprite? Oh, shit. Sub. That's a crazy sub. Does he not have triple dive? Did he not bring triple dive? Dang. He must have had, like, liquidation or something. Okay, Camerupt comes in. So Camerupt Mega is very interesting in this format because it's like one of the slowest things in the entire format. So it's really good with Trick Room. And Marowak Alola has like I think base 45 speed or something. And normally that's what can normally you consider that a Trick Room tier, but because of how slow everything else in the format is, it's actually surprisingly fast compared to a lot of other big dumb slow Pokemon. Okay, he does Mega. He's faster and he rock polishes. And he dies. And he gets crit. Oh no. Crazy turn of events. What? So it was fast. It was fast Camerupt. He goes to the rock polish but gets killed by the crit Earthquake. I don't know if that crit mattered. Because if this is Thick Club, okay, knocks off the War Turtle. That's huge. For removing its item. It does just U-turn. Oh shit! It's Cell Smashed. Okay, okay, he's cooking. It did knock off a Violet though. It did not reveal White Herb, so. Still not faster than Helios. This might be Scarf, actually. Probably shouldn't say this might be Scarf. That's, could technically count as coaching. Okay, in comes the Marowak. Oh, I know. Yeah. Yeah, stays in. And this is gonna sub, yep. Wait. Okay, no, he does not die to the recoil. Oh, that doesn't even break sub, okay. But I think he's gonna go down. Yeah. Takes him down with him. Very well played by Bobuzab. Also, chat, make sure you guys show team. We are a show team league. There we go. Let's take a look at the sets. So Camera Up Mega, very fast, no bulk. I don't think that crit mattered, but always good to double check later. It was Flame Orb defensive Sigilif with Future Sight and Reflect. Interesting. Yeah, and the classic Psycho Shift Flame Orb Sigilif set. That's an OG like Gen 5 set from lower tiers. Super cool to see that. Low kicks was Silver Powder. Ooh, okay. Trying to like bait that it might be like different boosting item. The extra bug damage. Very standard. 4 attacks. Double on the stab moves. It was Scarf Heliolisk. Yeah, playing around that very well with the immunities there. Mawala was Shookaberry with max attack, but had double dark move. Did not have a steel type move to punish Archeops. I honestly think that turn that it super feigned, you probably should just knocked off instead anyways, but hard to say in that situation. Maybe you didn't want to risk giving Virizion a justified boost, but like really hard to say there. And Wugtrio was choice banned, but did not have the triple dive. Unfortunately, triple dive I believe has a chance to miss, which is part of why you might do that. What do we want? This one. Team builder. Wugtrio. I think triple dive is like 95 accuracy. Yeah. Unfortunate. Did not trust the low accuracy on triple dive, which would have actually completely owned that subset. Virizion was Expert Belt with Swords Dance. Yep, pretty scary set in this format. Life Orb Toxicroak with Swords Dance. Ooh, okay. Swords Dance, but no Sucker Punch. Normally, like, if you're running a Toxicroak like this, I guess maybe it was a Wall Breaker. I would have ran Sucker Punch over Knockoff, but maybe there was something he was expecting that I wasn't. And then we had not very fast Shell Smash War Turtle. Rocking 3 attack moves in the Smash, but also having the Eviolite to have it be able to smash safely, it looks like. This was, in fact, Thick Club. It was a minus speed nature Marowak Alola. Okay. And then the substitute putting in a lot of work there. And we had Power Herb, Archeops with Air Slash and Earth Power as the main attacking moves after you Meteor Beam. And then Rotom Frost never left the Pokeball. Neither did Virizion. But it was Nasty Plot with Dark Pulse as the last move. Very cool. Yeah, that game would have been very different. If we go back to... First of all, if Sigilif was alive, Sigilif got completely cooked here. Good lord. So if it was alive, it would have had a lot more game against stuff like Toxicroak. And I guess actually no, Sigilov kind of got cooked by the rest of these mons though. That said, it did have Future Sight, which would have been a cool move, and Reflect, which would have been nice to get up. I thought the low kicks here was very interesting, because if this had just stayed in an air slashed, it might have just, like, been worth to sack it for that. Like, there's no way unless, maybe he knew that, like, a choice band first impression would kill because of Tinted Lens. Knockoff, yep. And I think Mawa probably went for rocks here, but just gonna go for the kill. Not gonna let rocks go up. And I love that he preserved Toxicroak to go into Marowak here, knowing that it was gonna go for electric move, or like any stab move would have been heat here, and he can't go for a water move in front of Toxicroak, so he had to have like either A, some weird coverage move, or B, like it's a 50-50. And Marowak coming in on the Volt Switch just set so much momentum for the pace of the game. Wugtrio comes in as a subs. Now, personally, I thought this was a Wugtrio sack. I thought for sure this was going to go for, like, not necessarily Shadow Bone, but, like, Earthquake or Flare Blitz would have done so much damage to Wugtrio. Sub was heads up. However, if this thing had Triple Dive, this game is way different on this turn, because now either Bobozep has to respect the Triple Dive and go into Toxicroak, or this just dies. Like, if this dies to Triple Dive here, this game is all of a sudden a lot more even. Especially because Wugtrio is faster than both Virizion and Archeops, and puts a lot of pressure on both of them. So, huge not having the Triple Dive here would have made this pace of the game go completely different. And then Camerupt, this turn was also super impactful. Let me pull up the calc. Because, what is this? Camerupt. I don't think this crit mattered, but we want this one. We want Marowak. So notably, this had like very little HP. How much HP did it have? I think it was like, let's just put 50 for now. 52. And this had Earthquake. Okay, yeah, no, that was killing Camerupt every day of the week. This is Camerupt Mega, yep. Okay, that crit did not matter. So we skip to the end, we can see that the Camerupt had only 12 HP, yep. That crit did not matter. Okay, it looks like Stormtide's ready to go. Let me real quick. Yeah, I just saw that. Thank you. We're gonna go real quick. We're gonna just mute my desktop audio. And let me call Mr. Stormtide. And while that's going on, I can pull this up. And let me go ahead and put that there, and then bring this here. Oh, and I need to transition so it covers up my little logo. And we're gonna hit. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Oh. Oh. Hello, hello? Okay, I just have my audio from my computer muted, so stream can't hear you yet. So let me know when you have yourself all sorted, and I can unmute my audio capture. Let me also see if I have. I probably have to add your Poogie if I don't have it already. Let's go! It's paying my bills! There we go. I can also just... 4 minutes is crazy. What? Here, let me unmute you. Okay, chat should be able to hear you. Let me turn up the audio a little bit. Hello, everyone. I have Stormtide here with me.
Hello.
And I gotta go like this. It's spooky. So, while we're just finishing up some of the final little prep here, hello chat, welcome to, let me change the name of the stream, actually, I gotta do that too. This is, we are no longer the Magic Gathering category, we are now in the Pokemon Champions, let's just call it Pokemon Champions, because that's probably got
one of those, right?
This is draft.
Ugh. Yeah, raced home, got showered, immediately played a game, got blown out, ready to talk Pokemon.
Got blown out?
Oh, it was bad.
We did watch the match on stream, so I do feel bad airing your dirty laundry, but...
No, I just got outplayed. Nothing more to it. That just happens.
There you go. Stream info is now updated. I believe that should be correct. Oh, let me also go ahead and... Actually, no, I don't care about the tags. They don't matter.
But yeah, we want to talk about some draft cores, because I'm a big sports nerd, so I like looking at team compositions and how you build things and stuff like that, and talking about cores is something that I think a lot of people have hot takes on, most people understand the fundamentals once you play draft. Like, it's not that nuanced, but with anything, there's different levels to it, right? Like, people understanding how you can really form a team to patch its holes versus teams that can look good on paper and then just not feel the way they looked when you pilot them.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also a lot of people who, like, when you say they have hot takes, like, they'll look at a core that I think is good and they'll say, oh, I hate this. Why do you have this Pokemon on this roster? I'm like, that Pokemon's good. It has amazing support on this roster. Like, what are you talking about? It's like, then they'll be like, oh, no, I just don't like it. Like, you know? So, it's just like actual sports, like you said, where people have their favorite players and they have players they hate, and the same applies to a lot of Pokemon. So
yeah, and I think too, like, even to the point where some people where it's like, oh, why did you take X Pokemon for something? Like, there's some strategies that are so prevalent that some Pokemon are worth taking it, even if it's only for a week or two. I'll use an example of Palpitoad. Palpitoad is an NFE Pokemon, but it shits on rain matchups. That's just what it does.
Yeah.
It's super hard to bowl through. It can take on Mega Swampert, but it doesn't really do much of anything else. It's kind of cute.
It's got
but
Stealth Rocks.
It works. It has Stealth Rocks. It has like a really silly infestation toxic build, but it doesn't do much beyond that. And there's certain mons you can take, like in that same kind of vein, that have that specialist role that can help shore up a core that does have issues. Like Chansey's another Pokemon like that, where Chansey, in half the matches, it's complete garbage. But in the other half, it will win you the game. if somebody did not build their team
build
correctly.
appropriately. Well, I mean, we in NHL season or Generation 6, we had that exact thing happen to us on the Etobicoke Obama Snows team because we brought Blissey to a lot of games, and it just soloed a bunch of games out of nowhere because no one prepped for it. So we definitely saw that in practice recently. Before we get too much more on like specific tangents, I wanted to do a little intro. Obviously you've been on my stream before, but for anyone who has not seen you on stream before, or if this ends up becoming anything more than just a stream replay, did you want to introduce yourself briefly to the people?
Sure. I am known as Stormtide on the interwebs, among other names. I help run the NHL, the Nidoking Heritage League. It is a legacy draft league, if you are uninitiated, that we go through several generations of Pokemon and play draft and have a very large CBA of rules. So if you like reading, fantastic. If you don't, I am sorry. I also putz around some other leagues like the NBA and helping run tournaments. And yeah, it's a great free hobby, and it's in a time where things cost a lot of money. This doesn't, and it's wonderful. Plus, it makes you think a lot too, and I like the strategy of it.
Oh yeah. No, it's funny that you say like, oh, I just putz around the NBA. It's like, dude, like you are one of the main runners of all the side events. Like you do so much work. So like I think you're underselling yourself, but yeah, Stormtide is an absolute gem of our community. And it's always it's always a happy day for me to have him on stream. You've also been doing some of your own content creation side projects lately.
Yes, you can catch me on TikTok and YouTube at Mole2None, where I'm currently in the process of trying to review every single Magic card for EDH. And right now I'm about halfway through Alpha. Alpha has about 250-ish cards. I think there's only about 80 videos live on my YouTube channel or queued up.
Well, because you're going like one a day or something, right?
I usually do between 1 and 3 a day.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
So pretty low effort, kind of like content, but it's something to get me talking before and hype myself up before I go into work. So that's the main reason for it.
Oh, yeah. But no, absolutely stunning work that you've done so far. I need to watch more of them. I saw the first couple that you posted, and then I've been like trying to get my own stuff sorted and haven't had
Dude, there's so many bad cards. It's
Alpha's like that. It's crazy.
Alpha, yeah, it ricochets between absolutely banned, can't play, and another one where it's like, I think I've seen 800 of these at a card shop before.
Like Gray
just
Ogre.
In a bargain bin.
Yep.
Yeah, Gray Ogre, your Water Elemental, Fire Elemental.
Yo, Fire Elemental, Earth Elemental, the OG like elemental couple, you know.
Yeah, like I'll sometimes talk with people that comment like, "Oh, you could use something like this." Like I had somebody I think trying to hype up Healing Salve, and I'm like, "No, it's just bad. Just don't even try to make it better."
Oh boy, I gained 3 life. Woo!
I know.
But yeah, so super awesome. I need to keep up with more of that, but definitely check out Stormtide's little Magic project.
Yeah, it's quite fun. It's one of my favorite formats besides the best format being Vintage.
Ooh. Have you heard that Vintage is getting completely destroyed by the Fantastic Heart lately?
I have heard.
It's a weird time in Magic history.
It is weird. I mean, it won't stop me from playing Dredge, but it'll be there.
Let's go. Anyways, tangent aside about Stormtide and Magic. Today we are here to kind of do a little presentation. I've been talking behind the scenes about doing this type of presentation for a while, and Stormtide, you reached out to me first. I was so happy, and you're like, hey, you want to do this? Like, I'm free after this month, and I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. And so I spent like a good almost an hour making sure this was prepped beforehand, and then I started my stream, and then I tuned in about when you said you were free, and I just see that you've added 4 or 5 slides, and I'm like, oh shit, he was ready for this. He was cooked.
It took me a whole 10 minutes, but I had some stuff prepped beforehand, so you're gonna get your initial take of rating some cores.
Exactly, yeah. No, I'm excited for it. I briefly glanced over it, but I didn't go too much in depth into what you'd added because I wanted to let you run that. So yeah, I think we can probably just get straight into this presentation, and then we can take questions if there's stuff people want to talk about afterwards. we're here for it. And I did the first half of the presentation, so I'll kind of go through my half. And if there's anything you want to say, just pipe in, talk over me if you need to. I'm not gonna complain too much about it. So, this is our introduction to classic draft cores and just basically how draft cores work. Featuring myself and Stormtide. Oh, I need to be on the right. There we go. Parts of the slide didn't try. Oh, reload. Show anyways.
You broke it.
What did I do?
You might have to reload the page.
I just tried to. Is it unhappy that I used a bunch of pictures? How does it go?
I'm looking at it on my end, and it seems to be.
Is it Firefox
working.
being weird?
It could be Firefox.
Let's see. Let's try this again. Wow. I tested this. This is not like. Oh, it just didn't load any pictures. Okay. Real quick. We're gonna just.
That's crazy.
On this screen for a second, and I'm gonna go ahead. I gotta make a whole new scene for this.
Gotta have up OBS scene.
Let's see if
I
can
think
do
when
this
I've
on
tried
Microsoft Edge instead. Oh, actually, I don't even. Never mind. We're not gonna do. No, we can still do this.
But anyways, how's everybody else doing?
Dude, this is crazy that Firefox has decided to screw us over. I've never seen this in the presentation before. This is actually new to me.
I actually haven't either, and I've seen a lot of PowerPoint presentations in my day. Gosh, it reminds me of when I was teaching.
Okay, real quick, I need to go. Wow, I have to share it with my alternate account.
You just gonna try to throw it up on like Brave or Chrome?
Yeah, I'm gonna use Chrome. Or not, no, sorry, I'm using Microsoft Edge, which is even worse.
Oh.
I know. Yeah, this worked. Okay. Okay.
You say that, but
I use Microsoft Edge as a backup. Whatchamacallit? Backup browser for some other work that I don't want tied to my other browsers. So
makes
this one
sense.
is going to be changed to this one. There we go. Okay, we're back.
Okay. Let's try going to the next slide and see if images load. That's
it worked. Whoa. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Firefox completely destroyed our introduction here, but so my first real question is, what is a draft core? Because honestly, the definition for what a draft core is not. It's almost never set in stone. There's like a billion different people who will say that's not actually a core, or this is what I think a core is, and it's not really like. It doesn't have a set definition, but there's a bunch of common traits that cores have, and my definition I'm going with is that it's at least 2 or more Pokemon that pair well together. Be it on like when you're looking at your team and you see like, oh, they have a water type and a grass type. That's a type core. They help each other out. They cover each other's weaknesses, and they can attack the things that the other ones are weak against. And so like the classic fire, water, grass core, the starter trio, do a really good job of covering each other's weaknesses both offensively and defensively. Water types are really good at dealing damage to fire types that grass types can't really do anything to, and vice versa. So that's like kind of the classic example of your type core. And so a type core can be used for a number of different reasons. There's offensive type cores. So for example, you can have a very fast physical attacker and then a special attacker that breaks through physical walls. So that's like more of an offensive duo, offensive type core duo. You can have defensive type core or defensive cores. The most iconic one is the Skarmory Blissey core from Generation 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Was like the end all be all of unwallable, or not unwallable, unbreakable. Yeah. Diamond is unbreakable type core of, you have a special defense wall that takes nothing from any special move under the sun, and then you have Skarmory, which is a physical wall that walls the majority of things that would try to pressure Blissey. So that's a classic example. You can get more complicated cores than that, but that's like the dynamic duo of early generations. And then
I will say, for draft in specific with cores, usually when you build a roster, most draft leagues run anywhere between 9 to 11 Pokemon draftable. Yeah.
Yep.
So I like to think of your core is what are the 3 to 4 Pokemon you are bringing every week, because that is what your team is reliant upon, whether it's the weaknesses that they cover for each other and their offensive capabilities. And it's what people are going to prep against.
I like that definition, but it kind of feeds into the idea of like everyone has a different definition of what they consider to be a draft core, because like you can have a core of like 2 or 3 last pick mons that are like specifically there as a check for, like, you can have like Palpitoad and a mon that randomly has Levitate, like base Rotom, right? And that can be a quote unquote type, like a draft core you have specifically as your rain check. So like,
yeah,
it might
and
not
those
be what
would
you're
be the Pokemon that
matchup.
slot into that 5th and 6th slot, right? Instead of the ones you're bringing every time.
Yeah.
Like if you draft like Mega Starmie, like you're bringing Mega Starmie 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Like you didn't draft it to not bring it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I definitely, what was it talking about? Yeah, definitely. There's different types of cores, different ways they're used, and like when people usually hear the word like, "Oh, this is my draft core," they think, "Okay, what are you bringing every game?" Right? Like that's kind of like what a lot of people's first thoughts are when they hear that.
Yeah. So, and you can make like smaller cores within your own roster as well. Like somebody, for example, it's like, I want to run 3 Weathers, for example. So you're just like, I'm going to draft Pelipper, I'm going to draft Torkoal, I'm going to draft Tyranitar, and then I'm going to get a Weather Abuser for each of them. And I got this little mini core I can slot into teams.
Yeah, and you just kind of like, your team is just a collection of like dynamic duos. You could say like, I think Sand is good this matchup, so I'm going to ignore my other 2 like Weather Centers and focus on the Sand team here.
White Smoke Torkoal coming in hot.
White Smoke Torkoal, yeah. Other things that cores can do is they can be utility cores. Like you can have a duo of, I have a Pokemon that really needs to rapid spin things away. And I have a rapid spinner instead of defogger because another one on my team is like a huge hazard setter, and I don't want to defog those away. So I need to have a core of like hazard setter and rapid spinner, so I don't remove my own hazards. Like in hazard, and then you can also. Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say hazard war cores get really crazy. There's like when hazard wars become an important part of a format, it gets really wild with what people will do and won't do to like maintain their hazards.
Yeah, and another popular one out there, I swear I see this drafted in almost every league, is someone's like, I'm going to draft a regen core because, they're very annoying to play against. It's probably one of my least favorite abilities in the entirety of, like, Pokemon, is Regenerator.
Yeah, no.
Because it's so much value for the least amount of effort put in, which, fine, it exists. But you could have a core of, like, I'm drafting Torrentee, Alola Mola, and Umbreon. Like, have fun trying to break me.
Exactly. Well, that's like, we've seen people draft mono regenerator rosters even. I think, was it Impulse? No, not Impulse.
I think Luke Nukem did that at one point in like an
off
season.
Yeah. We've seen some players actually just draft mono regenerator, and it's like, why is this winning? This is crazy. And then my favorite type of core, a draft core, is when you just draft Pokemon that look cool together. I know in Mr. Soup's first season, he really wanted to have Mega Blaziken be like the star of his, or not Mega Blaziken, regular Blaziken be like the star of his draft. And so he also was like, Nah, that Pokemon's too ugly. I don't want it on the team with with Blaziken. And you know, like Mr. Sweet Sorrows has previously said like that Pokemon's too ugly for this team. I don't want it on it. And so, you know, there's definitely an aspect to which, like, if you have a Greninja, you need your team to have, you know, equal swag. You can't be pulling up to the function wearing, like, you know, a Moonga strip when you're trying to focus on Greninja.
Exactly.
And then also over here, this is a classic VGC core, the quote unquote chalk core. Cresselia, Heatran, Landorus, Amoonguss, and Kangaskhan. Infamous core in the VGC days, especially in Generation 6. Even Generation 5 started seeing a lot of chalk kind of be in the works.
I don't know anything about VGC other than Incineroar good.
Other than Incineroar good. Pretty much, yep. But like I was saying earlier, there's also, this is like some very common lingo that if you don't know what it means, it's really hard to like figure out what's going on. But the Fire, Water, Grass, Fairy, Dragon, Steel type cores are classics that people kind of look for as like, yeah, this has been tried and tested, and they're staples of Pokemon drafts because, you know, if you have a Fire, Water, Grass, they cover each other really well. If you have a Fairy, a Dragon, and a Steel, they cover each other really well.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say like the format, especially for draft, is like solved, but it's been very well tested at this point for what does and doesn't work.
It's stood the test of time and consistently performs well. So that's how I'd put it. And the other type core that I think a lot of people are always thinking about as like, yeah, like obviously that makes sense, but never really say out loud, is having a ground immune and electric immune. There's so many teams that like you look at their ground matchup and there's like 3 or 4 Pokemon that are all weak to ground, and it's like, okay, do they have a ground immune core that can deal with this? And because most ground immunes are electric types, you're then like, well, I need something to support my ground immune. I need an electric immune, because if I don't have an electric resist, my whole team is just getting volt switched on. Or electric immunity, right? And so I think that's a really underrated quote unquote dynamic duo or type core of you need a ground immune and electric immune in a lot of situations.
Yeah, and that usually means ground and flying type.
Ground and flying type. Yep. And then obviously we're gonna talk more about this later, but weather, terrain, and a whole bunch of other gimmicks have quote unquote type cores or draft cores that are super important.
Can we talk about how hard it is to fill grass type Fire, Water, Grass? I think. Okay.
I don't think that's actually a problem. I'm gonna be real with you.
I think that it can depend, because in the Pokemon games, a lot of times when you encounter grass type Pokemon, it's earlier in games, so they're inherently not as powerful. And the ones that are going to be higher up on draft boards, it's going to be fewer pickings versus like fairies, steels, dragons, those kind of mons. So that's why it might not feel proportional.
Yeah, there's definitely like bug types, grass types, and normal types kind of disproportionately have weaker Pokemon overall, because they're like the early game types that you like, because Pokemon is first and foremost an RPG game. A lot of the balance around like, you know, oh, every type needs to have strong Pokemon kind of goes out the window, because you can't have, you know, dragon types like the mythical, legendary, you know, there's a bunch of like connotations with being a dragon from fantasy pop culture. You can't have those show up right away. And so that's why like sometimes it's like, well, I don't really want to draft a grass type or a normal type because they're weak. They're not very strong Pokemon. And
well, think too, it's like, what are the top 3 grass types in most drafts?
Yep.
Like, you got Meowscarada, Rillaboom, and insert mon here.
Yeah, and like, depending on if it's Terra League or not, Zarude.
Yeah, Zarude, Shaman, but that's a step down.
Yeah.
So.
The Ogerpon forms would probably be like the number one.
Oh yeah, the Ogerpon forms, but
they're like kind of an exception. They're crazy. But yeah, like grass types are just not given a lot of love in terms of like being powerful Pokemon, because they're treated like, you know, little little guys you run into the beginning of the game, and then when you get to the end of the game, it's like, oh, I'm too good for grass types. So I think it's more of a byproduct of the Pokemon games are designed as RPGs, which is why grass types sometimes feel like the forgotten part of the Fire, Water, Grass core.
Yeah, and there's just not like a lot of pseudo-legendary or legendary grass types out there.
Yeah, exactly. Like
At least none that are like super good.
We need like a face legendary that's a grass type, you know?
Calyrex.
Calyrex doesn't count because he loses his grass typing when he goes on his horse.
He needs his horse.
But yeah, so that brings me on to I'm going to talk about two specific drafts that I think have a lot of interesting conversation about draft cores overall. And I wanted to start with from your league, the NBA roster. I'm kind of blocking this actually. 1 second. Let me and move myself over a little bit. So this is our current team on the Etobicoke Obama Snows. Shout outs to Mr. Royce over in chat, who is our forward all-star on the Etobicoke Obama Snows. I gotta go with this.
You got a reigning champion, Etobicoke.
Yeah, current champs. And I want to talk about sand teams specifically, because I think sand teams are the most interesting and the most creative of the weather team cores. With rain teams, more often than not, you just get one of the rain abusers that is also immune to electric, and one of the rain setters. It doesn't matter which of the two rain setters, you get one of them, and you get like some other water types that abuse rain but are not weak to grass, and it kind of builds itself. Like, you just spam a bunch of water types. There's so many, like, you can just have a billion Swift Moms, and sometimes you just win because your opponent doesn't have a water resist, or doesn't have a good enough water resist. But with sand teams, sand doesn't have the same level of just, you are instantly more powerful when this Pokemon is in sand. You really have to rely on type synergies, on defensive and offensive synergy, and a lot more thought kind of goes into building a sand team. And it's like the classic example is Happy Pride Month, the Tyranitar Excadrill duo of these two Pokemon obviously love working with each other. But they share like 3 different very relevant weaknesses. They're both weak to fighting, they're both weak to water, and they're both weak to ground. And those are some of the most important weaknesses in draft, because water types are almost always solid. Ground and fighting coverage is everywhere, and strong physical ground and fighting types love to just click buttons. So having to build your team to overcome those immediate weaknesses is surprisingly challenging. But it's also extremely rewarding if you do it right. And so, like, you know, of course you have your sand setter and your sand abuser. Tyranitar can be like Gigalith, it can be Hippowdon, and Excadrill can be like Stoutland if you really wanted to go crazy.
Dracozolt,
Lycanroc. There's
Mega
other
Garchomp.
options. Mega Garchomp, quote unquote. Yep.
Yep.
But it's really challenging to make the type cores work on a sand team, unless you get creative with it. And like, so that kind of goes into like some of the other ways you make a type core work on a sand team, which is by using Pokemon that have like Magic Guard or defensive useful abilities on Pokemon that are often of types that can cover your fighting weakness or your water weakness very well. So you frequently see like Clefable and Reuniclus as amazing sand supports because they resist those fighting moves that you are luring in constantly. They ignore sand damage, and they can actually abuse the fact that your opponent is taking chip from the sand by running defensive utility sets.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking just at the roster, what's the most synergistic here? It's like you're noting Clefable. Yep. Slowking is another one, just because of the type disparity it has with the ones that want to abuse sand. It can come in on, it can eat an EQ. It's really good against the fighting types that want to abuse Tyranitar or Gigalith.
Yep.
And then You also have Moltres, which doesn't help with the water, but helps with just about everything else, especially avoiding all the EQ damage and threatening back things that might want to resist your EQs, in that being grass types and
Yeah.
ice types.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Moltres covering that ground weakness, covering that fighting weakness, and punishing like physical attackers, because Tyranitar does a pretty good job of kind of coercing special attackers away with its natural defense, special defense with the sand bonus. And so Moltres coming in as a physical wall, and a special attacking threat to counter those physical walls or those physical attackers, does so much for the team. And I have included the genies here because all three of the genies, both their regular forms and their incarnate forms, pair really well with sand teams as a whole. A lot of sand teams, you'll see like Tornadus Therian on there as the like flying type pivot, right? And it's both, it's a special threat, which Tyranitar and Excadrill are kind of missing out on, and it's also a defensive pivot. Does a lot of work.
Which I believe all the genies, their unique moves are 100% hit in rain, so they're also really good in other weather formats too.
Yeah, they can kind of like catch your opponent's other weathers off guard. Like if you're all of a sudden in a rain matchup and you're not confident that you're going to win the weather war, you now have a very good tool to pressure your opponent's weather when it's up. I think the classic example is Sheer Force Landorus is often banned in draft formats, but they legalized Sand Force Landorus, and Sand Force Landorus is an absolute monster. It's just as good as Sheer Force and doesn't have to run Life Orb if you're running like Earthquake, Stone Edge, sometimes even random steel moves. And its typing, being a ground flying type, pairs really well with Tyranitar specifically. It is still weak to water, but you resist ground and you're immune to ground and you resist fighting. So huge slot in that way. And then like we are currently running Thunderous Incarnate on our sand team, in very similar vein where it's immune to ground, resists fighting, and it's a special attacker that puts pressure on those physical walls that want to come in on Tyranitar and Excadrill.
Yeah, absolutely. And then mixed in with the team too, you have some mons that are just good in a vacuum, like Gallade Mega. It doesn't really fit into a particular team comp, but it's so strong in a vacuum you can kind of slot it in wherever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And yeah, so I think sand teams are probably my pick for the most interesting like weather team for type cores and creativity in that regard, which is why I really wanted to talk about it. Obviously the other weathers all have their own nuances and different things going on, but just because of how sand kind of has these inherent contradictions you have to solve, it makes a lot of very creative team building, and it makes your like draft core really important to having a successful sand team.
It's interesting. I want to agree with you, but it's not the most interesting weather for me.
Oh yeah? What do you think the most interesting weather is? I'd love to hear this.
I think sun is.
Okay. I think that we can have that conversation later, but yeah, definitely that's what I mean by like everyone has different definitions for what they do or don't like about draft cores. There's some people who like they see a rain team and they just fall asleep, right?
Yeah, I do think you're right in sand being the most consistent for what it wants to do. I think if we're talking about like volatility, probably rain, because people have seen it probably the most out of any weather because it's the most straightforward, right?
Yeah.
Get setter, get abuser, go to town.
Yeah.
Sand and sun, I think, have more nuance of what you can do with them, and then you have hail/snow kind of sitting in the back. That does probably two things really, really well, and that's because of a particular mon.
Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of hard to talk about snow and hail without kind of making the whole conversation about the fact that Slowking is what makes the form, what makes it work, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a new snow setter in Mega Frostlass.
Yes.
So that's actually probably one of the most exciting megas in my opinion, because you can lead with a super offensive threat that can also throw up Veil.
Yeah.
And you're not stuck with something like Vanillux if you really want Veil.
Hey, don't go slamming Vanillux. Vanillux is sick.
I have drafted Terra Vanillux. It's okay.
But I wanted to also talk about So like Sand, I think, is like one of the most interesting like creative cores. I wanted to talk about. This is something I haven't really talked too much about, but really wanted to cover on my first conversation about draft cores, which is my first draft roster. This was the first 6 Pokemon I drafted way back in 2020, the first time I played in a draft format, and it was by a lot of people in that format regarded as one of the best teams that season. And I feel like I kind of like lucked into, or I intuited the Death Note type of like figured out how this works before actually knowing what's going on. But let me bring you back over here.
Yeah, scoot me away.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, this is my first team. These are my first 6. I had like 2 other Pokemon at the end here that didn't really matter. I don't think I ever brought them into games, but this was the 6, and I think it's a classy example of why type cores are really important, and kind of like shows a lot of examples of how in draft specifically, you're not looking to have just one like 3 Pokemon team. You're looking to have overlapping cores that mean that like if you're missing one of your pieces, you still have a solid core going on. And so like on this roster here, right, we have Cinderace. I want to go back. We have Cinderace, Alomomola, and Tapu Bulu as a Fire, Water, Grass. But there's also kind of like an offensive duo here of Cinderace and Bulu kind of having 2 different ends of physical threats, where Cinderace is often pressured by bulky water types and bulky ground types, and Tapu Bulu loves to come in on those. And conversely, like Tapu Bulu is often walled by like a lot of dragon types. Actually not really dragon types, but like other grass types, fire types also. And Cinderace, while it's not a great like offensive check to them, it can definitely switch in on a fire move pretty freely and get a lot of momentum back in your court. Your court, literally.
Yeah, you change court.
You change the court. And then if you look at, like, we have a Fairy Dragon Steel here. We have Tapu Bulu, Mega Steelix, and Goodra. But Mega Steelix and Goodra, and Tapu Bulu to a lesser extent, really appreciate that Alomomola is on this roster as a Wish Passer. And so now my Fairy Dragon Steel is also benefiting from my Fire, Water, Grass. And Tapu Bulu and Alomomola, being a Water and Grass type, really appreciate that Alomomola checks those fire types for Bulu. And so it's like seeing all these different type cores kind of overlap and support each other makes the team that much like more difficult to break through and get that and you know, it makes it harder to play against.
But even deeper than that too, you have hazards, you have hazard control between 2 other mons, right?
Yep.
You have speed tier distribution, and you even have access to things like Regenerator, which is really strong, Defiant and Prankster, which is very strong on Thunderous to deter certain strategies, and other immunities as well. You have Sap Sipper on Goodra if there's a really strong grass type or something on the other side.
Yeah.
So it's this kind of comp does a lot of things very well.
Yeah, and it's a type of thing where after I made this roster, I started seeing and some of our favorite draft players, a lot of inspiration kind of show up. I'm sure that we all know Mr. Overmat. One of his favorite things to do is to have Mega Aggron and Cinderace on the same roster. And, you know, I kind of attribute a lot of that to my first draft roster here, because I actually beat Overmat in my first season way back when. Granted, there's probably a bunch of hacks and stuff that he'll mauled about and say it didn't actually count. But I did get a win over Overmat in this season, and I also beat him in playoffs as well. So, yeah, very, very important to note that I feel like a lot of Overmat's modern drafts kind of take some inspirations from this OG build of myself way back when.
It's one thing I also try to see in the NHL too, with how people evolve their rosters, because that's one of the biggest things is like, how do you keep those kind of core tenets intact even though the Pokemon might be changing because of contracts?
Well, and I think like if we look back at like our current Sand team, right, we previously had Hippowdon on here as our Sand setter for the past like 3 generations. And so we're like, well, we're losing our contract on Hippowdon. What's our next step? So we took an early bet on Gigalith to have it as our new Sand Setter because it gets access to Sandstream in Generation 7 for the first time.
Yeah, it's a format that really rewards teams that understand those fundamentals on how to continue to be competitive and not just be like in the tank every week you're trying to prep. You're like, man, why do I have this mon? And it's like, yeah, you got to have a little bit of perspective down the road. And also whatever matches with your playstyle too, obviously.
Oh yeah, well, so part of the reason I'm pulling up this roster is actually for myself because I don't know if you've been following my runs in NBA and other leagues recently. I've only really been playing in the NBA. I've taken a break from the PGP run, and I haven't played in PWC in a while. So I'm only really playing in the NBA and the OTL right now. But my recent NBA rosters have been very experimental, and I was like, I lost to, I think it was against Suzu and Camel, who ran very defensive playstyles against me. And I was like, damn, if I was playing the way I normally do, I don't think I would have ever lost to this. Because my original... What are you talking
about? Belly Bolt's great.
I know. I'm not saying... But the rest of my team was like a lot more offensive. It was kind of... had a lot of stuff going on. But I haven't really like played a true defensive Wish Pass roster like this in a while. And I'm like, you know what? I got to bring it back because this is what was successful for me. I know that I like to play this style, and I've been basically experimenting with different drafts and ideas and concepts as a way of like widening my repertoire. So when I come back to this, I kind of have that breadth of experience. And so I'm definitely planning, mild spoiler alert for next time I'm in one of these seasons, I'm definitely planning to come back to this style of draft in the near future. And I will keep y'all warned. I'm not here to play around. I'm here to win. So
good stuff.
But with that said, I'll let you carry on with your next little bit. I actually went to the slide a couple times. I've been really mean to. So
yeah, so we're gonna look at some core rating activity. You've played more draft than I have, but I've taken a few 3 Mon cores and paired them together to see what you'd think if somebody came up to you and they're like, "Hey, do you think this is a good for my draft?
Ooh,
if I like top 3 or top 4 picked this." Like, is this something I should build around, or does it raise more questions? We have a 1 to 5 scale.
I actually love. I don't want to talk over you for a second, but I love when people put together these like random 3-mon or like even more than that combinations of Pokemon. That's like, I have questions because I want to know if this works. I consider myself like a mad scientist when it comes to looking at and trying new draft concepts. So I love this type of shit.
It's fun because there's so many different combos out there. There's probably a factorial number that's way too big for the amount of drafts you could come up with. But our 1 to 5 scale, it's just a basic Likert scale. So 1, it's a meme build. Probably somebody picked a theme where you have a bunch of anti-synergies going on, but it makes sense somewhere, somehow. 2 is your kind of unoptimized anti-synergistic elements where somebody might try to jam a bunch of mons together that they're like, man, they have such big stats and stuff. And you're like, yeah, but they all do the same thing, or none of them complement each other. Like say you pick like a bunch of slow mons that can't pivot. And you're like, yeah, this is going to do great. You're like, you got to rethink that. Yeah. 3 is kind of your standard, like, this is what I put in like Coco Bundle like territory.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it makes sense, but there's probably better options. There's definitely worse options too.
It makes sense, but it's like, I would say uninspiring is how I would describe it, right? Like,
yeah. Like, it does some things well and it does some things not so well. And then 4 is your optimized core, few weaknesses, but it may have additional support that you could probably patch up with the rest of your roster, but there's maybe one thing missing. It's like, oh, you don't have hazard control in this 3, or you don't have rocks, or you don't have a key resistance for like flying or ground types. And then 5 is your ideal core, very few holes, high power level for draft. You probably top 3 picked these, and it's going to be very hard to break and defend against.
Yeah. Now, I do want to ask, do you have like relative answers for yourself already like picked out for a lot of these?
I do.
Okay. So you're kind of just like, You're kind of like grading me on like, oh, do I agree with him here? I see.
Yeah, I think that makes fun discourse. That's why we play.
You know me, I love a little bit of discourse here and there. Yeah, no, I'm excited. Let's get into it. Okay, so this is
So we got
the
3
Weather
rounds.
Wars.
Yes.
Okay.
So we can go from top left and go over to the right, and then snake back
yeah,
around.
let's go. I'll go top 3 and bottom 3, basically.
Yep.
So Tyranitar, Dracozolt, Mandibuzz. This is probably like a 3. The reason I'm not a big fan of this is because there's double dark and no fairy resist. There's 3 fairy weak Pokemon.
Yeah, you're gonna get killed by fairies.
You get owned by fairy types, absolutely. You have like the defensive ground immune and 2 ground weaks, which I like. You also have technically a water resist for Tyranitar. But there's not actually a fighting resist. Mandibuzz checks a lot of fighting types, but does not notably resist fighting, so it cannot safely switch in on very strong close combats. So actually, this might even be closer to it too. Like, it looks powerful, but there's like half the team missing. Like, it feels like there should be 2 or 3 more Mons next to it.
So here's the kicker too, and I rated this a 2, is you actually don't have an electric resistance or immunity because you want to run Sandrush Dracozolt. If you're not doing that,
that's true. But Dracozolt
that's
does
lost
quad resist
power.
electric. It does quad resist electric.
It does, but somebody can still freely click that, like Volt Switch, and rotate out.
Yeah, exactly.
So
there's also that's what I mean by like there's half the team missing, because we don't actually have a special attacker. Dracozolt is not gonna run the special moves most of the time. Because if you're not running Sandrush, you're probably running Hustle, and like that's a physical attacking ability. So not having a dedicated special attacker, I do know that Dracozolt and T-Tar can run mixed sets, but generally speaking, where's
Zolt, you'll run like Draco for one thing that might wall Bolt Beak, but that's about it.
Now the reason I would almost rate this as a 3 is because if there was 1 or 2 other Pokemon added on here, because I know the limitation is there's only 3 Pokemon at a time, but like if Clefable or like a special attacking fire type were added onto this team, all of a sudden it becomes a lot more dangerous and a lot more it covers itself a lot better.
Or even like Tapu Fini would be crazy good here.
Like Moltres as I guess Moltres and Mandibuzz kind of compete for the same thing though. Maybe not. But there's a lot of different like 1 or 2 pick Mons that suddenly make this a lot safer, but there's just so much overlap holes that you need like multiple instances of a fairy resist. You need multiple instances of a fighting resist to actually.
So if somebody came up to you with this team, it'd be in the category of you have some issues, but it's salvageable.
It's salvageable if you have like 5 more picks. It's not salvageable if like your other team, if the rest of your team has the same issues, like, you know, like you need to put some work into this. It needs work, but it has the right like offensive idea.
Yeah. All right, next team.
I love this team. This is probably meant to be paired with some sort of rain setter, but it doesn't actually need to be on a rain team. And the reason I like this is because you have 2 very fast pivots that are of 2 different attacking engines. You have a physical attacker and a special attacker. They both have pivoting moves. They can U-turn or flip turn and volt switch respectively. And then you have a absolutely wonderful pivot, or not as pivot, but like thing that wants to abuse that momentum, which is Ferrothorn. It wants to come in after you've flip turn out on the defensive thing coming in to check Barraskewda. You go into Ferrothorn and you set rocks and you just sit there and eat hot chip and lie. And if Ferrothorn like does its job and bites the bullet, gets up rocks, you still have 2 very dangerous special attackers that come in immediately afterwards and force them out, get damage, and can take over the game. So I would put this at a 4, maybe a 5. If I knew this was on a rain roster, it might change my opinions a little bit. Just because, like, Ferrothorn loves rain, and both Barraskewda and Kilowattrel, like, Barraskewda's got Swift Swim, and Kilowattrel has the hurricane problem of it really wants rain to not miss hurricanes. So if this was on a rain roster, it would probably change my rating a little bit depending on what setter they have. But absolutely, I would rate this like a 4 at minimum.
I would rate this a 5 because it can work independently of rain.
Okay, actually, I like that. Yeah, I can agree with that. I'm game for calling this a 5.
Because even if you didn't pick up Pelipper or Politoed, these mons all really complement each other. Your probably biggest weakness to here is anything outside of Ferrothorn probably doesn't want to get hit, but that's what the rest of your roster's for.
Yeah, like, for example, like, you could tack this on into, like, even a Sun team, right? And if for some reason your Sun team doesn't line up in a good matchup, all of a sudden you have, like, these, this fast water attacker that punishes your opponent for changing the weather. Like, these three together, like, are this type of thing where they're a trio of 3 that can kind of be attached onto anything and work independently fine on their own.
Yeah, if somebody told me this is like their picks 3 through 5, I'd be like, gold star, A+. Like,
yeah, exactly.
If you want weather, you got weather.
If you don't want weather, they're still passable. They still do their job. Like, Ferrothorn, like, well, it is good on rain teams. 90% of the time, it doesn't need rain to do its thing, so. That said, talking about rain team, we have Mega Swampert. Mega Swampert is so good on rain. And it's just a second Swampert without rain. So if this team doesn't have rain, it is, like, it's still fine. I think Swampert, Zapdos, Scizor, just if it was a vanilla Swampert, I would say this is probably a 3 or a 4 easily. I would probably say a 3 because it's kind of uninspired. Like, Swampert, Zapdos, Scizor is, like, worthy of a 3 on its own. Is Chiyu in Champions? No, it's not in Champions yet, but we're talking about earlier generations as well here.
Yep. This version is going to be about a 4 for me, just because it is, again, really strong. It does a lot of what you want to do. Now, it doesn't have as strong a hazard game as the previous rain one. And
I mean, it's got 2 defoggers and a setter. Like,
right. But it does want rain more than the other team, so to speak, especially for covering Scissor's weakness to fire, Zapdos hitting hurricanes, having stronger thunder, and Mega Swampert for bridging that speed gap that the other team is already fast without it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, this team is very reliant on Swampert for its speed control. And without rain, it's not actually speed control. Also, like Scizor and Zapdos. Scizor and Zapdos are 2 Pokemon that I think have been with each other since, like, Generation 2, on and off. Like, especially, I think, like, Generation 4 and 5, they were pretty common. Generation 6 and 7, you can see them together. But, like, I would put this as a 3 because I think it's pretty boring. I think there's probably better options if you are on a rain team. Like, if Scizor was Ferrothorn, right, you just swap those 2 around. You know, arguably a better rain core. Because you already have 2 pivots with Zapdos and Mega Swampert. You don't really need a 3rd pivot with Mega Scizor. Or, sorry, regular Scizor. But yeah, I'm going to rate this a 3 just because I think it's boring. Which is mostly my, like, personal bias coming in. I've seen Zapdos Scizor a billion times.
This is a very tried and true kind of pairing.
Yeah, exactly.
But going to bottom left.
So this is, I'm pretty sure, was on an Overmat roster at one point.
Yes.
One of the few times I think he's ever drafted Corviknight. I think this is a pretty good core. I like that Corviknight is a Pokemon that's on here that doesn't necessarily line up with the normal, like, weather plan, right? Like, normally you think of snow and you're like, why would I have a Corviknight on there? But it also doesn't care. It's agnostic to snow. It doesn't really care.
It's a Gloomon, right? You stick it in there and it just works.
Notably though, it's a Gloomon that enables kind of very similar, like, Skarmory Blissey, a very solid physical defensive, special defensive duo. It's a little bit different because Slowking Galar isn't necessarily like a hard wall. It's more of a pivot wall. And Corviknight also, I feel like, compared to Skarmory, is in a similar boat where Corviknight doesn't switch it on physical attackers to, like, completely shut them down. It switches on physical attackers to then get momentum back on your team's side.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I think, solid, like, very Skarm Bliss-esque defensive duo here, and then Arctozolt being your snow abuser, it's fine. I think Arctozolt is overrated. I think it's pretty reliant on whether or not Bolt Beam is good in the matchup. Like, Bolt Beam is a iconic dual type offensive coverage option, but it's also not as ubiquitous as it used to be. There's a lot more ways to deal with it than there was in earlier generations, and like this is very clearly a modern generation team. So that's why I think like it's more so that I'm not a big believer in Arctozolt. I think Arctozolt is overrated, and I think it's very much reliant on the rest of your team enabling it to click those electric and ice moves free of charge. And
yeah,
Slowking and Corviknight do a good job of enabling that, but it doesn't paint the whole picture on what the offensive matchup is like, because if your opponent has their own weather, this team does nothing about that. If your opponent has like a ground type that isn't weak to ice, like for example, Swampert, I guess that doesn't work though, because Arctozolt does get
the biggest thing to probably break this team would be a strong fire type. Like,
yeah,
if you have
there's no fire type
Arcanine
resist.
clicking Flare Blitz, like, what do you do?
Like, physical fire types completely eat through Slowking Galar and the rest of this team. So, I think without knowing the rest of the team, I would give this like a 3, maybe a 4. I'm gonna say a 3.
I'm at a 3.
I think it's a little bit boring. But there's definitely ways that you can make this interesting, and the other like 3 or 4 slots on your team can definitely make this kind of paint a bigger picture.
Yeah, well said. Team 5.
So this is a team core of last time I played Sun. I think I had exactly these 3 mons in the PGP when the NBA played in PGP season. What season was that? I don't remember anymore.
The previous one.
The previous one. So I had this exact core. Notably, I think Walking Wake and Venusaur were both Terra captains as well.
Okay.
So my one issue with this team is that almost everything wants to be a special attacker. Venusaur and Walking Wake, while they do catch that like water type and like grass type and kind of a pseudo fire type, Venusaur kind of
you do have a fire water grass core.
There's a fire water grass. I agree, yes. But the issue with this is that this is a very matchup fishing fire water grass. There is basically exclusively special attackers. Technically, Torkoal gets body press, so it is a physical attacker, and technically Venusaur can run mixed. Sorry, let me just get some water.
Don't die. But like you're kind of saying, like, what's stopping your opponent for just running 2 AV mons and saying, I've got him covered?
Yeah. Now, granted, Walking Wake in Sun does make Assault Vest look like a joke. We have definitely seen Walking Wake literally blow steam through Pokemon that should reasonably check it. But
it's incredible.
Yeah, but like I think the team I had with this had some very nasty physical attackers to pair with this. Notably, I think there was like a Roaring Moon. So, ignoring the Roaring Moon, like if you showed me Torkoal, Venusaur, Roaring Moon instead of Walking Wake, those 3 I think are probably more immediately threatening. Just because it fills in that physical side of the question. And also, like, Venusaur and Torkoal are both amazing fairy resists. And so they cover the fact that Roaring Moon is very weak to fairy. So this trio on its own, I'm gonna rate it 3 because it's very by the books. It's a very like textbook fairy water or fire water grass. But if you swap Walking Wake for Roaring Moon, which I believe was on the same roster in this situation, if you are referencing my Sun team roster that I've recently used, putting Roaring Moon over Walking Wake here, or in addition to it, makes it, I think, closer to like a 5 or a 4.
I would agree with you. I think this is your very standard, like, middle of the road weather team where it does exactly as advertised. It's got some clear flaws that need help from your outside Pokemon, but also you have to respect the raw firepower that can come out of this team. Oh yeah.
Well, and Venusaur and Walking Wake are both like, Venusaur is a grass type that with Sun gets access to fire coverage. And Walking Wake is a water type that gets access to fire coverage just without Sun because it has a flamethrower. So both of these Pokemon on their own actually kind of defy the Fire, Water, Grass restrictions. And so you don't necessarily need to see both of them on the same plan here to know that like they are gonna beat normal checks.
Yeah, well said. All right, last team.
This is definitely a 1. This is meme territory. I would never willingly put Chi-Yu and Victini on the same roster because they effectively do the same thing. They are both effectively unwallable, especially on Sun. They're both effectively unwallable. They're both effectively very vulnerable to faster Pokemon and hazards. And they both love to get free pivots in.
And they're also the same speed.
They're also both base 100. Yeah, the base 100 speed is the biggest, like, why I don't like this. Base 100 speed is a very good benchmark, but when you overlap on it, it makes it so your opponent like doesn't have to think about what they're speed creeping anymore. They just say, yeah, faster than a base 100, easy, I'm done.
Yeah, they throw a bunch of stuff in bulk because they don't want to try and outspeed it, or they know exactly where they're going if they're anticipating Scarf.
And like anything that Chi-Yu can't break through, technically Victini does help with, but like most bulky fire types, like Incineroar walls both of these Pokemon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could argue, oh, Chi-Yu, like Blissey is the one thing that can wall it, and Victini can use a physical move against that. But like, if you're running Chi-Yu on Sun, your game plan is to still break through Blissey with raw firepower, which is why Chi-Yu originally got banned in Overuse back in the day. Chi-Yu got banned because it was running like Specs Overheat in Sun and had an option to 2-hit KO Blissey. That's why it got banned.
Yeah, it's just melting
back in the
everything.
Day. Yeah. So the whole like argument of Victini's a physical attacker that can break Blissey kind of falls through when you realize that that's what Chi-Yu does. So this is definitely meme territory. It's also like really hard to see how this fits on a bigger roster. Like you need to have like
you got 3 fire types.
You got 3 fire types, right? And like 2 of them do effectively the same thing. If you bring both of them to one game, like the rest of your team has to do so much work to resist things that beat fire types. So, yeah, definitely a 1, definitely a meme territory, but also a funny meme. I'll give it that. You want to just bring 3 nuclear bombs and a Vulpix to a game? Like, be my guest.
I am not losing to grass types ever again.
I will never lose to steel types.
All right. So the next page is a little probably harder to evaluate. It's the starter pack.
Oh my god. Okay, you cooked with this one. This one's awesome.
So these are all your basic fire, water, grass cores, but with varying usability.
Now, I want to ask, are these taken from real rosters or did you make these up?
Some are not.
Okay. First and foremost, I really like this first team. Mega Charizard Y is kind of like half of a Sunsetter, and Empoleon is a water type that actually doesn't mind Sun. It's very good as a support for Sun teams because it's a steel type that's not weak to fire. Even if Sun is up, it can still tank a fire move. And it also just has like very useful resistances for most Sun teams, notably being a rock resist. It's also got defog and a bunch of utility moves. It makes great work of that defensive typing by being able to like get rid of rocks, set its own rocks, roost on things. So I actually really like the duo of Zard Y and Empoleon, and the fact that Sun, like Mega Zard's Y Sun, is very selfish. It doesn't last very many turns because it can't run Heat Rock, and that's actually an upside for Empoleon. You're clicking. I like that a lot. So I'm a big fan of those two together. Chestnut is very interesting because I feel like it does a lot of the same things as Empoleon. It's a rock resist, which helps Megazard. It covers some of those, like it covers the water weakness. It's a ground resist, which is kind of nice for Empoleon. So I like the combination of Chestnut individually with each of its other partners, but I don't know if I agree with the entire trio. I think Empoleon and Chestnut kind of do the same thing, and Megazard Y would be better off with like an offensive grass type, or
Well, the reason here
a
is
faster grass
Chestnut is your spiker and Empoleon's your defogger, while Zardwise your breaker.
Okay. I see that. You have Chestnut 4 hazards. Okay. I like it. I would give this like a 4 because it's creative, but I am a little bit worried about the overlap between Empoleon and Chestnut. Does Empoleon doesn't get flip turn, does it?
It does.
Ooh, I do like that.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay.
But I think you're right in saying it's about a 4, where it does a lot of things really good, but it does leave a little bit to be desired, especially on that synergy between Empoleon and Chestnut.
Yeah,
because you're not breaking base 100 speed either with this 3.
Yeah, exactly. The speed tiers do leave a bit to be desired, especially because your grass type is on a pseudo sun team and doesn't have chlorophyll, which means that your grass type can't abuse that double speed gimmick. Grass types are usually bad, change my mind. I think you need to go back and play some more in-game Pokemon if you think grass types are bad. Grass types, if you play in-game, if you do like a regular playthrough, grass types can do a lot of work throughout the game, especially early game. And I think if you think grass types are bad, you probably are just too used to high power level shenanigans. Then you maybe need to play some lower power level formats. I think grass types are super strong in lower power level formats. Leech Seed is a huge problem that when you're playing against a team where everything doesn't have U-turn, Leech Seed can be really obnoxious. The powder moves, like the utility moves that grass types get access to, are super important for team support, and a lot of people will forget about that because they're used to playing formats where Pokemon invalidate that. But like the reason why I'm saying I need to go back to like some of my roots of how I used to play like these bulky Wish Patch defensive teams is because I lost pretty embarrassingly to Sleep Powder Mega Venusaur not too long ago, featuring Mr. Camel of the PWC. I got completely owned by Sleep Powder Venusaur Mega, and I was like, dang, this is like, if I was playing like my fundamentals, I would not have lost to this because I know how to deal with this, but it's definitely a very strong strategy that people will sleep on. So yeah, if you think grass types are bad, I honestly think you just need to play some lower power level formats because there's just not a lot of room for that type of strategy in these very fast-paced, hyper-offensive recent formats.
I think they have their place like any other type. Anyways,
yeah, next
starter pack 2.
So this is like a very dangerous hyper offense trio. I'm assuming that Blastoise is going to be Shell Smash a lot more often than not. And that now I can't say this because it's not on the roster, but I'm assuming there's at least one screen setter somewhere on the rest of this roster. If there's a screen setter, this team is very dangerous. All 3 of these Pokemon attack from very different angles on a hyper offensive roster. Blastoise is a click once and win the game setup sweeper. Blaziken is a kind of a combination of both a setup sweeper and just a cleaner. And Meowscarada has been consistently one of the most oppressive and annoying fast cleaners in modern Pokemon formats. You look at its stats and it's like it doesn't have that much attack, but the fact that it has stab, the fact that its speed tier is so fast, and the fact that it has so many useful coverage and utility attacking moves makes it so hard to play around and predict. And so on a hyper offense roster, this is like absolutely very creative, very dangerous, and very unpredictable. Because Blastoise, sure, it can be a Shell Smasher, but it can still be your defensive pivot. And having a water-type defensive pivot to support Meowscarada and Blaziken getting the opportunities to do their thing is also equally dangerous to Blastoise just clicking Shell Smash in front of your face.
And you still get hazard control in this with Rapid Spin and spikes from Meowscarada.
Yep.
So
now, granted, you don't really need the hazard control that badly because nothing here is like strictly weak to rocks or hazards. And like Blaziken and Meowscarada don't really care that much about the chip unless they're switching in and out a lot in one game. So like Blastoise is not required to be a spinner for this team to function, which is really important to Blastoise's strength, I think.
This is the kind of roster where you're forcing your opponent to switch more than you wanting to pivot.
Well, you're just saying you show your opponent this and you say, okay, your turn, right? Like you slam these 3 on your roster and you say, I pass the turn, do you lose?
Yeah, you don't necessarily have the answers, but you're asking a lot of questions.
You're asking a lot of questions. You're forcing your opponent to have the answers. So,
yeah, I think it falls solidly in that kind of like 4 to 5 area. Yeah,
I think it's a 5 solely because of the multitude of angles of attacks and also the flexibility you have. Because
yeah, because it can steal a game from any 3 of these models.
All 3 of these Pokemon will steal a game on their own. And all 3 of them have very different solutions to answering them. Because, like, sure, you can run, like, Roar to prevent Blastoise and Blaziken from setting up on you. But then you just let Meowscarada in for free, and it wants to pivot on you. It wants to abuse that free pivot. So if you spam Roar, you know, you're letting Meowscarada steal the game. And if you run, like, Protect as, like, a scouting option for Meowscarada. Like, imagine you're expecting, like, Choice Band Meowscarada, and you run Protect so you can scout it, force it to change its type, and deal with it appropriately. You do not want to ever click Protect in front of Blastoise or Blaziken.
Yeah, if they click Setup Move, it's kind of curtains.
So, that's why I rate this a 5, just because I think it's creative, and because I've seen firsthand how obnoxious Meowscarada is, and how Blastoise and Blaziken just run that duo threat of, are they going to kill me now, or are they going to kill me and win the whole game at once? So.
Yeah, well said. Next roster, or pack, we got Cinderace, Mega Feraligatr, and Serperior.
So this one, it's very similar to the last trio, but I think it misses the mark in a lot of different regards. Mostly just because Serperior does not have the same level of instant win the game as Blastoise or Blaziken, and Cinderace does not have the same level of flexibility as Meowscarada. I do think Meowscarada and Cinderace, I would say Cinderace is better in a vacuum, but like in a vacuum, I would say they're basically the same, or Cinderace is slightly better, solely because Cinderace's like signature set of boots, Pyro Ball, U-turn, and whatever you want, just does the same thing so consistently, whereas Meowscarada does kind of like require to have some form of a boosting item or some sort of gimmick to really put that same level of pressure on that Cinderace does innately. But this team doesn't necessarily want what Cinderace does as much as another roster might. Neither of these Pokemon really care about the court change gimmick. I don't think Mega Feraligatr and Serperior care that much about the fast pivot. They would much rather have a slow pivot. And yeah, I don't think Cinderace and Serperior actually support each other that well, because both are pretty hard walled by physically defense, or not physically defensive, but like by defensive fire types.
Serperior only has one way to really threaten you outside of being a Terra Captain, but assuming it's not, and same with Cinderace, is you're not going to have as much flexibility. And Mega Feraligatr, again, just has one real kind of pathway. It's either going to hit you with Dragon or Water move. Yeah,
it's hard for me to really evaluate how Mega Feraligatr fits on this, because it is a Champions Pokemon and hasn't really been in... I'll save the whole rant about this later, but it hasn't really been in a real draft format. It's kind of in a speculative draft format.
Yeah, it's kind of, for me, it's kind of like if Kingdra and Haxorus had a baby. That's kind of what the Mon is to me, where it wants to click DD at least once before it starts doing things.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is if Cinderace was a slow pivot, I would actually like Mega Feraligatr and Serperior a lot more, because it would give them the opportunity to get in for free and set up for a turn before doing their thing. Because Serperior needs to click Leaf Storm at least once or twice, usually before really winning the game. And like you said, Mega Feraligatr really wants that Dragon Dance off to put that pressure on the team. So
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
put
give this
this
a
around
3.
I put it around a 3. I went back and forth if I wanted to put it around a 2, but it's if somebody showed like is my fire water grass core, I'd be like, it's fine.
It's
It's
fine. It's fine. It follows fundamentals. You do have removal. You don't have a lot of type weakness overlap, and you do have like firewater grasses struggle to break dragons, and you have a dragon type of your own, so that puts pressure on that. So yeah, generally speaking, I like it. I do think it's really interesting to see what you do with the rest of the team, but I think there's just better options, and I think like the previous trio does a really good job of kind of highlighting the differences between, you have your slow, bulky water type that wants to set up, you have your fast pivot that wants to like be in and out, and you have your like snowbally win the game like if all these conditions are lined up Pokemon,
mhm.
but they just don't necessarily have the same level of flexibility and X factor is a big thing.
Yeah. Okay. Bottom left team. Very
This team
interesting group.
I would rate very similar to the second trio, where
Mhm.
you have a fast, dangerous pivot, you have a setup beast, and you kind of have your like middle ground of both a setup threat and a pivot. Um, Now, granted, I think this one has a lot more defensive holes than the earlier trio. Um, I think that like
Okay.
there's a lot more pressure on Megazord X to be like a U-turn resist for Greninja and Rillaboom. Also, there's no removal. There's no hazard game.
Nope.
Technically, Greninja does have spikes, T-spikes, but like it doesn't really have the opportunity to click it with this trio here. Um,
Yeah. So some of the early idea is I've seen people where it's like pairing grassy terrain with Megazard X because you can get rid of the EQ weakness.
yep.
Greninja with Protean is still very strong, but it does lose to Mousecurata, funnily enough.
Yeah, this whole team gets owned by Meowscarada, actually. Maybe Megazard X can come in and like take a move and then get out. Like it does technically quote unquote resist knockoff by having a Megastone, but like Meowscarada gets to click U-turn on this. Meowscarada is like I think a point faster than Greninja, which is so relevant for how this team plays out. And Meowscarada resists grass, so it can take a grassy glide and kill back.
Yeah, it still doesn't want to take U-turn from Rillaboom, but you have other things to switch into.
Yeah. And like the fact that this team doesn't have removal is the biggest nail in its coffin. Because Megazard X, the Mega Charizard forms need some form of removal because of the fact that they can't hold boots. Now,
Yep.
granted, they were doing their thing way back before boots were a big deal, but even in Generation 6, right, you had to have removal for your Megazard team because they were just so vulnerable without it.
Yeah, and more Mons have gotten hazards in general, so it's just become more of a necessity.
So yeah, absolutely, I would give this a 4. I like the concept. It's just nowhere near as good as the earlier trio, and does actually require more team support to be functional. Because like this second trio here, if you have screens, this team is done, right? Like sure, you could get some more like other types on your roster. You can get a whole bunch of whatever you want, but you have screens in these 3 mons, and the other 2 are irrelevant. You have a game plan. Whereas this
Yeah.
team, like, you need removal, but you also need like another thing that wants to come in on U-turn. Because
Yeah,
being weak to
it's the
bug this
definition
much,
of a team that is like the second team being it's free real estate versus I have to be careful of how I spend my next couple of draft picks to make a good team. Because I still think the fourth team is very strong and can make a good team, but it's you have to be very conscious of putting that support in.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's all I really is to say about it. I think it's just kind of like it's hard not to compare these other like offensive starter rosters to what I think was like probably the best 3 so far. Because they're trying to do the same thing. Like they're kind of going all offense and
Mhm.
passing on the defensive synergy, unlike the first roster. Like the first roster here has 1 offensive threat and 2 defensive supports, whereas these other teams are trying to go all out offense.
Well, let's look at probably the weirdest one here, I think, in my opinion, being that the fifth roster with Mega Blastoise, Decidueye, Hisui, and Incineroar.
So one thing I want to note is that in most of the formats we're playing, Mega Blastoise does not have Shell Smash, which is a very important. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a phone call. I will have to answer that in a minute. Let me finish this
yes,
thought.
It does not get Shell Smash, so it is relegated to just using Mega Launcher as its boosting ability.
I do like, though, that Mega Blastoise is a really solid spinner for Incineroar here. Very reliable back guard. Also, Decidueye, Hisui, I believe, has Defog. So 2 very good removals.
It does, yes.
And Incineroar's biggest sin in draft, in my opinion, is that people just slap boots on it and don't consider other items on it. Incineroar has like some very awesome item considerations available, but because the default is I put Parting Shot or U-turn in boots and like don't experiment with the other options, I feel like a lot of the potential it has is missed. Now,
that being said, though, this team also hits pretty darn hard without a lot of setup. Like, Scrappy is a fantastic ability.
Yep.
And Intimidate nerfing other physical attackers is also really just nice to have.
My biggest issue with this team is the speed tier. I have no idea what's going on with the rest of the team. There is a very awkward range of speed here between like 60 and I think Mega Blastoise is 78.
Yeah. It's pretty slow. It's more of a defensive team.
They can't threaten the high speed or mid speeds that easily, and they also are not a Trick Room speed tier.
Yep.
And so having that much like clumped up speed in a regular format is really challenging because you just always have to expect them to be slower than things. Now,
yeah,
granted, I do think Decidueye. I do think Decidueye and Incineroar have really good choice scarf sets, but that's like a whole item commitment, right? So,
yeah, I'd actually put this team around a 2 because it really needs a lot of other support to make it happen to patch up speed tiers,
I think
other weaknesses. Yeah, because you also have a fire type that doesn't resist fairy either. So fairy moves go into the team very well, which is a bit frustrating.
I mean, Mega Blastoise does a pretty good job of taking a lot of like normal fairy moves. Like if it's like a Tapu Lele, you might have a problem. But like most Moon Blasts are gonna only do like 30% to Mega Blastoise, which isn't the worst. So there is that. It's hard to say, but yeah, definitely it's missing a lot of speed. It's missing a lot of utility. Like there's no hazard setter here. It's Clef Bait. And yeah. And then
so go ahead.
Yeah, I'll say it too, but our final roster here, is this from the recent PGP season? Because I don't think I've ever seen anything like this with Mega Delphox.
I don't think this one I made off the top of my head because I saw stuff similar to it.
Okay.
And I don't think Torterra was part of it, but I do think I've seen somebody pair Mega Delphox with Samurott Hisui. And that pairing is just kind of sick to me.
I do like that pairing a lot. What I like about this pairing is that Samurott is a physical attacker with very dangerous priority options that really support the Mega Delphox plan. Mega Delphox, what's its speed tier? Let me actually...
it's 134.
134 is crazy. Okay, that's way... I thought it was like 124.
Yeah, I just drafted it in a league because I've never used it before, and I'm like, damn, it looks fun. I gotta try it.
It looks, honestly, my review of Mega Delphox is that it looks brainless. It looks like you just run like 3 attacks and maybe Calm Mind, and you just win every week. Like it seems.
It gets
so
nasty plot,
bro.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like the new Mega Zam almost then.
A little bit, but the idea behind this team too was you have an electric immunity and a ground immunity on the team.
Oh, I like that. Okay, yeah. Granted, ground isn't really a big problem because Torterra does resist ground naturally, and Samurott doesn't actually care about, like, it doesn't want to take an earthquake, but it's neutral.
Right.
I like the Delphox Samurott duo. I don't know how I feel about Torterra. I don't hate it here. But I feel like Torterra, if it was not a starter grass type and like a Serena or like one of the grass types that gets rapid spin, I'd be a lot happier about it.
Yeah, it's definitely, I was running out of starter mons to pick from, but it felt it felt like a fun one to include because
Well,
it blanks
actually,
Volt
I
Turn.
would nom that you moved Sidgewai Hisui over here, and then you have a Firewater Grass, and you have a Fighting, a Psychic, and a Dark, which is like
That is true.
one of the like underground quote unquote type cores that I think is more of like it's cool than it's actually good. But like if you just swap to Sidgewai his Torterra here, all of a sudden you solve the problem that this team has where you don't actually have a setup threat. Giving a Shell Smasher, it's like an actual Shell Smasher, not Blastoise Mega, to this tree over here makes it like a lot more scary. And giving a fighting type and also a potential removal mon. Now granted, I think a Spinner is a lot better than a Defog because of Samurott, but
Sure.
you have the double type core.
But I put this team around like a solid like 4.5. I think it's just, it does a lot of different things. It has good speed spread and good attacks, and it has decent defensive synergies as well.
Okay, I want to say a 3, solely because I think this team actually wants a screen setter. I think if if Torterra is going to be an actual setup threat, it wants screens. And for Torterra to be a good defensive support for this team, it needs to have spin.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like my reasoning for being a 3. But I think it's really creative. I like the idea.
It is a fun one. All right, we got one last round, which is our more out there mix and match where you might have somebody post in like draft help and like have these kind of teams. They're like, I just took 3 really good mons. How do I make it better? And you might get stuff like this.
So this first 3 here, I love these 3 together. These 3 are awesome. You have 2 really good hazard setters. Notably, Garchomp did get spikes in Generation 9. And you have a spin blocker. What this team needs is what I think I paired with Golden Go and Glimmora when I last had them, which is Megazard Y.
Okay.
I believe I had something along the lines of like Golden Go, Glimmora, and Megazard Y as like a pseudo Sun team in my first or second season of the NBA. And that shit was so awesome. It was so good. Especially because Glimmora is also a spinner. With Mortal Spin. And
Goldingo and Glimmora you see paired often a lot, I feel, in drafts because you have one that vomits hazards and one that prevents hazards from being removed.
So, yeah, like, I think this is, like, one of the nastiest hazard control cores. I think if you look at it in terms of what it does in-game as opposed to, like, just the type matchups, it's actually, like, a 5 or a 4. But then as soon as you're like, wait a minute, there's no ground resist, it's like, okay, now I gotta actually think about what the rest of my picks are.
Yeah.
So I would give it a 4.5 maybe, depending on the roster. But I think a minimum of 4 for me. I am kind of biased though because I think I've drafted something very similar to this previously.
I am right there with you. I think this, if somebody picked this like top 3, I'd be like, if you keep drafting the way you are and like trying to pair up certain things to shore up defenses and offensive threats to balance it out, like you're gonna have a really hard team to prep for.
Yeah. Speaking of a core I've seen somewhere before, this is definitely from some Overmat roster. And this is honestly, I think, one of his better instances of, pairing a Fairy Dragon and Steel together. I actually really like Mega Aggron on this roster as just a physical,
it's a big fat lug.
like the Berlin Wall type levels of physical wall here. Especially because Primarina and Roaring Moon both have really obnoxious pivots, with U-turn and flip turn respectively, and they both hit like absolute trucks. And so anything that's going to like potentially threaten them does not want to see the Berlin Wall in front of them. So, this is, I think, up there. Like, this is what I would say is one of Matt's best trios, in terms of things I know are from his roster. And so I would give this a 5, just based on like personal experience seeing this together.
I'm right there with you, because if somebody says like, what's a good example of Fairy Dragon Steel, I'd be like, if you went with this, like, it's kind of hard to mess up, because also these mons aren't that hard to pilot, in my opinion. Like, you're clicking damaging move or setup most of the time.
I do think like you technically don't have any removal, but you also don't care. There's something weak to it here, and you have 2 pivots, and you have a special nuke and a physical nuke combined with probably one of the best physical walls in the game. Which, notably, Roaring Moon and Primarina are surprisingly specially defensive.
Yeah, I was shocked to see that as well.
So you kind of have 2 pseudo special tanks and the ultimate physical wall.
Yeah, really rock solid.
I'm going through these teams a lot more quickly because I know I've seen them before. It's like, I've seen this before, you know? Like,
Yep.
do I know you? Up next, this team is all over the place. I think this was on a Leezy or Lethal Blue roster. I remember seeing you and Annihilate together, and I was like, I don't hate it, but there's definitely some issues here. This is one of those team cores where I see this, and I know that they just took the most expensive thing that was legal at every point in the draft. Like, that's definitely a strategy that is been successful, but I don't.
I mean,
always
pick
agree
big
with
number, get stuff with good stats. But
yeah, pick big number, get good stats. It is definitely a strategy that has lethal will pick BM principle. Damn, okay. He might have had other Ursaluna actually. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. But
oh yeah.
But I've definitely seen Annihilate and Mew on like a very top end heavy roster together, and been like, this thing has stats, but I don't know if it actually lines up in practice. The other thing I think about this roster is that, well, Ursaluna Blood Moon is pretty brain dead to pilot. Annihilate and Mew are very difficult to pilot effectively.
I would say Mew is probably one of the hardest monsters.
Mew being one of the hardest Pokemon in the game to pilot, and surprisingly, Annihilate is not easy to pilot. I've seen a lot of people try to make it work and snowball games, and they just always seem to miss 1 or 2 things. And I'm like, yeah, that's like you had an opportunity, but you just forgot about one thing, and the game kind of got taken away from you. And so I think this roster is designed, it's built by someone who is not thinking, and it requires someone who is thinking to pilot effectively. And so I'm gonna give it like a 3, because if a very skilled or experimental player had this, I'd be very scared. But if like a relatively new player who just wanted to take the most expensive thing legal at every point in the game, I think they might have a lot of trouble piloting part of this.
Yeah, I was about a 3 as well, just because it depends absolutely on the pilot, and if you're picking mons like this, it makes me wonder what the rest of the roster is going to look like as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you going to go with more high difficulty, risk reward piloting kind of mons, or are you just going to fill it with more brain dead mons and focus your attention on these guys?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it's kind of weird because it's really hard to say what this team needs, but it's also really hard to say like what it doesn't need.
Yeah. Now this one requires context, but yeah, it's an interesting one that I
require context hat.
Yeah, but it is one that you will see people draft, and I think we have seen people draft stuff like this. Yeah,
exactly. Speaking of, I've seen this before. This is a classic Sneasler core. Lele Sneasler. Psychic terrain is arguably the best terrain for Sneasler because it shuts off priority, and it's going to die to a Psychic boosted move no matter what, regardless. Like, you don't care about the terrain bonus, the Psychic damage bonus, because it's going to die to a Psychic move no matter what. And eliminating priority is so big for Sneasler. Sneasler is often commonly seen with grassy terrain. I think grassy terrain is actually a lot worse for Sneasler because it makes things that normally like just barely can't counter it into an actual counter because they're now getting extra grassy terrain recovery.
Yeah, and I don't like it with electric terrain either because your setter is also going to be weak to ground.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Tapu Lele and Sneasler are very dangerously offensively as a duo, but they do have a notable blind spot, which is things like ghost types that resist. What ghost types actually? Especially like a ghost type that resists Moonblast or something. Like a fire ghost type, like Chandelure, for example, kind of stonewalls these two.
Sarah Ledge.
Ledge, yeah, Sarah Ledge, exactly. Now, granted, Tapu Lele can just choice spec psychic you into oblivion, but there's a little bit of like a hole in what that the two of them can cover, and I think Mandibuzz does a really good job of being a defensive check for that. Mandibuzz is also a great pivot, which Tapu Lele loves. Tapu Lele really needs a pivot to get in freely, to be effective, because it doesn't have pivots, but it hits like a bus. So as soon as, like, it's the type of thing where if you put in the work to get Lele in for free, it will reward you every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, plus Mandibuzz has your defog. It can status. It has foul play as well for things that want to boost in front of you.
I mean, foul play into Sarah Ledge is free real estate, right? So
yes. So it takes away the counters that would go into Sneasler and Lele naturally.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, it's exactly what you want.
I should probably give this a 5, but I'm a little bit uninspired by it. I think it's more of a 4.5. Personally, I hate Sneasler, dude. Sneasler's so lame. I hate playing against it. No, this is probably deserving a 5. I shouldn't be too hard on it.
I'd give this a 5. It's probably one of the best strategies out there to draft. Now, can you mess it up and draft a bunch of stuff that doesn't work with it? Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, I've seen people have this core, but then they try to do something way too cute with the rest of the roster, and it doesn't actually let this core do what it wants to do.
Yeah, I've seen people go too much all in on like the Unburdenmons. It's like, what if I also got Halucha in Sceptile or whatever? And I'm like,
yep,
you already had the thing. Why do you need more of it?
Or the other sin that I've seen with this frequently is drafting a bunch of priority abusers. They'll have Tapu Lele.
Somebody drafting Scizor.
Yeah, like I've seen people put Scizor on these rosters. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you own Scizor.
I think I did that at one point. I drafted a Mega Scizor and I had Tapu Lele and Sneasler, and I was like, well, I guess I'm clicking Ironhead.
Yeah, like I think I've seen this roster. Like, this is a good trio, but I've seen the rest of the team kind of fall apart. And it's like, this is what I mean by like, having like one trio isn't necessarily what makes or breaks a roster. There's more context that really determines things.
Yeah. So talking about other fun things, the 5th roster.
I love this team. This team. If you go back to my very first slide, they look cool together. This is a look cool together roster. Like these are the 3 little guys, right? Like if someone like said that it's their first draft and they like really like these 3 Pokemon and they wanted to draft all 3 of them, like that person is God's gift to this world. They are the most wholesome, pure being in existence. Unfortunately, these things all have 100 base speed, and we had that problem earlier with this roster. Now, granted, if you had 2 of these guys and like Manaphy was a different water type, if Shaman was like Meowscarada, that's honestly probably a 3 or better. But because you don't have that, this is like a 1 or 2.
I would still give this about a 2, just because these mons do work well together, even though they have a lot of overlap. But you could still be like, I'm bringing bulky Manaphy and Breaker Victini and support Shaman, and you can mix it up that way.
Absolutely, yeah. No, the 3 of these Pokemon have a lot of flexibility just because of they're individually very flexible. And I like honestly like if some like new to draft player drafted this, like I would be cheering for them. They'd be my underdog pick for the season easily. I love this roster.
It's a fun one, but definitely it's Kiddo's first draft.
And then we got the final roster. This is the one I've had the hardest time figuring out what's going on. As I've been glancing at this page kind of on and off. I do like Ogerpon and Thundurus together. I like that you have 2 pivots and Mega Mawile to abuse it. Like it's probably just a 4 in terms of raw power level, but I don't necessarily know if it's like a 4 for in terms of like having a cohesive game plan.
It's a weird one because you do have a special and physical attackers. Mm-hmm. You have some cool type immunities.
Yup.
You have pivots. You have defog. You have hazards. So it's one of those rosters that checks all those boxes, but when you still look at it, it feels something's wrong.
Now, I will say, if there was like some like physical tank ground type tacked on the end of this, I would probably rate it even higher. Like, I'm not saying Great Tusk, but like a Nidoking form, Nidoking or Nidoqueen on this roster. All of a sudden, I'm saying this is like a 5, right? Like, this is another like. I want to know what the rest of the team is doing, because I feel like Ogerpon, Thunders, and Mega Mawile, the 3 of them can all exist in a vacuum without each other and be powerful. And when you put them together, it doesn't really change that. But if you bring in like a new ingredient, I'm talking like the Ratatouille you've seen. But if you bring in an ingredient that ties the room together, all of a sudden it's like it makes them all that much stronger.
Yeah, this is missing like 1 or 2 Glumons to just really give you more safe pivots and more mons that want to click hazards and removal. So these guys can just lean into those offensive profiles.
Yeah, exactly. 1 second, I got some random messages.
All good. But yeah, I think that was a fun little exercise in going over just some common cores that you might see, maybe some less common ones, and why people choose to lean into certain aspects versus others, and what also we think of stuff when we see this, when we're trying to evaluate and help people with roster building and drafting and what goes into that kind of stuff.
No, I love roster building. I think that's probably the part of draft as a format that I excel the most at, is draft day and building the roster from the ground up. I don't think I'm a bad player in game, and I don't think I'm a bad builder, but like I think consistently I've rated myself as one of the best preseason builders. So not to toot my own horn too much.
It's your stream. You can say whatever you want.
But yeah.
That's what I had prepared. If there's anything else you want to talk about, Pokemon wise, I'm happy to do so. You can. I did just draft in Cats League. I did. If you want to roast my drafting, you're free to.
Ooh, let's see. Let me see if I can. Yeah, go like this, and then like this, and put this back on Firefox. There we go. Yeah, if you send me a picture, I can pull it up on here.
I will send you a picture. Give me 1 moment.
But yeah, I actually probably should end stream sooner rather than later, because 1, I'm starving, and 2, I have some company coming over shortly.
Oh right, you had like games or something.
Well, notably, tomorrow is Canada Day. It's unlike in the States, we get our holiday on the 1st instead of the 4th, and I'm planning on hosting a big barbecue. And I gotta like go prep my meat and do a bunch of stuff. So,
hell yeah!
I gotta beat my meat, you know.
Okay, sent it.
Ooh, okay. Can I go like this and like this, or can I just go like this? Here we go. Okay, so, this is very low quality. Whatever, we'll roll with it.
Sorry, snipping tool real quick. I didn't have it.
No. I think I had. Let me pull it up. I had my planner open. I can also pull this open in that, but I don't know if it has the mega new Pokemon in it, because it's from NBA Season 7. Oh, this is loading images fine. What the heck? What the heck? Firefox? So, real quick, let me reference this. So we had Delphox. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, I'll read it off to you.
Iron Treads, Pokemon, Water, Zapdos, Urshifu. This is a nasty roster. This is some high power level bullshit.
Shrifu single, yeah.
Forges. Oh, I like these lower tier picks. Overquill, I like that. It's Heat, Cufagrigus, Porygon 2, and ye old, the mascot, Shuckle.
I love Shuckle.
Gotta stick Corey.
Yeah, I remember us, I think it was PGA or something, we were Shucks with Jorts.
Yep, yeah, that was a classic logo we made. That was so funny.
That was good.
Okay, so assuming that Delphox has Levitate, your ground matchup super solid. You do have a bit of a rock weakness. That kind of comes with the territory of having anything really. I
Yeah.
could not believe how many teams had rock weaknesses in the OTL review recently. It was like every team I had to check the rock weakness.
It's pretty bad. But yeah, no, I started this off by taking Delphox Mega because it just looks like an insane mon.
Yep.
And then I think Treads is, I will probably say, the third best spinner in most draft formats if it's Nat Dex.
Okay.
It's
I
right
mean,
behind
it's a nasty
Terapagos
rock
and
resist duo
yeah.
with Delphox. I love those two together. So don't hate that. I've also seen Treads and Ogerpon paired together a lot. So I like that as well.
I've seen that before too, and it just does make sense because being able to just face tank water moves for Treads or Delphox made a lot of sense.
Yeah, and like it's a really weird fire water grass because your water and grass type are the same Pokemon, but you do almost immediately have a fire water grass here. The pick that I get confused by is the Urshifu.
So yeah, that was pick 5. It was still on the board, and I wanted another physical attacker that could at least play the part of like my choice user.
Okay. I don't hate it. What I would rather see here. Now, granted, if you wanted to be greedy and you took Urshifu to be as greedy as possible, I have to respect that. But I think this should be a Haxorus. Oh, what I do? This was. Hey, what was this? This is Florges, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Florges.
I think if this was a Haxorus. Now, I'm not saying like maybe like Urshifu is definitely worth more points. But if this was a Haxorus, I'd be like blown away because now you have that Fairy Dragon Steel, and this thing like is a setup threat that you can't really say the same about Urshifu single. Because right now, Delphox, it's kind of a setup threat, but realistically, you're just going to click the strong, super effective special attack most of the time. Ogerpon, it's also kind of set up, but it's not like a speed. You have to go out of your way to speed boost on it with the ability, with Trailblaze.
So you say that it's not a setup threat for like Urshifu. It does get Trailblaze and Swords Dance.
Yeah, but like it's not a speed boosting setup threat. Like when like Trailblaze is kind of like the actually speed boost argument. You know, where it's like you're right, but like in practice, not really.
Yes.
And the other reason I like Haxorus here is because you already have another dark type. You have Overquill as well. So that's the number one change I would probably suggest. Now, granted, Urshifu single is a demon, and like Ogerpon, Urshifu, like you have so many pivots between these 4 mons. Like you can just click Volt Switch U-turn on everything. And
that is the problem too. I like clicking pivot moves.
We have some nasty stories about pivot moves from one of the first times that we played in a League v League event, but I'll save that for another day. So,
but yeah, the idea is picked high offense. Urshifu was my greedy pick, and then the back half was shoring up my defenses with Florges, Overquill, Kafagrigus, and P2.
So real quick, I want to see what the team looks like without these added on here. So you have a poison weakness, that's crazy, and a water weakness. So notably, this thing's something I noticed earlier is that you didn't actually draft another water resist.
No.
So that's a big hole in my books. Because water is like one of the most spam types. Every team has a water type. There's just so many good water types. There's like I think it's the most common type in all of Pokemon. So to have only one water type and it's Ogerpon, which has a lot of pressure on it, is a tough spot to be in for your team.
Yeah, I was thinking that if I drafted fat enough mons that it wouldn't really matter, because like Shuckle's contributing to that water weakness, but it doesn't really care.
Well, it doesn't really matter that Shuckle's on here because it's your top 2 that really care about the water weakness, right? Like,
yeah,
these 2 have amazing synergy as long as you can cover that water weakness, and when the only answer to that is Ogerpon, there's just a lot of pressure on Ogerpon to stay alive for them, and as soon as it's gone, there's a huge hole open in your team.
Yeah, and I get that's also why Haxorus would probably be nice there too, because it does resist water.
Well, and the thing I like about like the reason why like Haxorus is not a defensive water resist, but it can switch into like a random surf and be a huge threat out of nowhere. Granted, Scald is a whole other problem, but
yeah.
I think in one of our like draft reviews, shout outs to Mr. Lucas, Mr. New Name Plus, who, as much as we love to roast him, has some really good opinions on things to look out for in draft. And one of the ones that he always brings up is, do you have a Scald resist? Because having a water resist is one thing, but having a Scald switch in is completely different. And this team has no Scald switch in outside of Ogerpon.
It's called Lumberry.
Yeah, outside of Ogerpon. So
yeah,
like Urshifu single can't safely switch into like even a weak Scald.
So looking at Grace, then, if I swapped out Urshifu single, probably get rid of Shuckle.
I don't think it even has to be Urshifu single that goes. I think if Overquill, I like Overquill here. But if it was a water resist, helps a lot more. Like even if it was something like Tentacruel, if you want to keep that poison type, you have your ground type coverage pretty decent because notably this is Mega Delphox, which is immune to ground, so you don't have to worry about the ground type weakness. Like if this was Tentacruel, doubling up on water types is often totally fine.
Yeah,
and like Tentacruel goes hard here. There's a couple other like poison water types. Actually, no, there's not that many, is there? It's only really the Toxapex, Tentacruel, and there's like one more I always forget about.
Yeah, I can't remember if there's another.
But yeah, or like any dragon type, like a slower defensive dragon type, like Goodra, Drampa. Actually, I wouldn't hate here. You made Porygon and Overquill into Drampa, or even
what would it look like? Yeah, go ahead, check.
Or even if it's just Overquill and then Drampa, because I don't think you really need what Porygon 2 brings to this team. I like that it's a defensive wall, but you don't really need like Trick Room and the other utility stuff that it does specifically.
No. Okay, interesting. No, this is good feedback. I appreciate it.
Oh, I should notice the ice weakness actually. You only have one ice resist. Yeah, I think a second water type. I think having a second water type with Ogerpon is actually very, very solid draft practice. Just because it doesn't actually resist some of the things that water wants to resist. Like it's not a fire resist and it's not a ice resist, which are two of the most important things for a water type to be.
Yeah, I get you. No, that sounds good. So, yeah, I would agree. Probably Tentacruel does make the most sense. Because if you switch out Overquill for Tentacruel, I mean, we'd still be ground weak, but
well, you're not actually ground weak because of Delphox. Delphox has Levitate.
That's Ghost, but yeah, that's why P2 was there.
Yeah, sorry, I removed some stuff. Yeah, and like the ground weakness isn't actually real because this is Levitate. But like notably, Tentacruel is one of the best Scald switch-ins in the game. It has been since Generation 5. Like since Scald was introduced, Tentacruel was like one of the best counters to it.
Nice.
It's also a Scald abuser, which your team kind of loves, especially with like Florges and Zapdos. Like if your opponent's shit is burned, Florges and Zapdos are way freer to be like giant nuisances. Oh yeah, dude, look at the pivot here. That's crazy work. I love that. Hazards are good. Oh, you got Kofgeiger specifically as a T-Spike setter. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, but it was mostly there just to be a fat wall and punish physical attackers.
I love
T-Spikes was bonus.
Yeah, Kofgeiger is a sick one. I love it in higher power level formats. I have it in this low power OTL cube. So I'm excited. I'm excited for it. With that said, I think I'm going to end stream here. Is there anything else you wanted to say to the lovely stream guests?
I just thank people for listening along, and hopefully they pick something out of it and maybe found a new core they want to try out. Or if they have more kind of draft ideas, to share them on any of the various servers, and Hey,
Or
sharing ideas
if there's
always helps
something
make
you
us
think I
all
said
better.
today that you want to roast, like if Mr. Roy Snover wants to make a shout out about how grass types are actually garbage, I'm here for it. So, um, yeah. Thank you so much for being a wonderful guest today. And once again, shout outs to the NHL and all the hard work you do throughout multiple leagues. I think you undersold how much work you do in the NBA, even as like you're not technically a mod, but like you do as much work as some of the mods some days.
It's fun. It helps people enjoy themselves, and that's what it's about.
Absolutely, yeah. Um, for anyone else still here though, I'll probably be back on Friday with more stream stuff. Um, I might do a short stream on Thursday. We'll see. But tomorrow is a holiday, so everyone go enjoy Canada today if you're from Canada, and if you're not, then you should become Canadian. That's my advice to
I'll
you.
be Canadian tomorrow then.
Yeah, just go visit Vancouver for the day, you know?
It's like a 45-minute drive. It's fine.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you so much. I'm gonna end stream. And we will catch you on the flip side. Bye-bye.